Yes, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to have your company wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world of the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Welcome to the penultimate edition of Thursday Night Motorsport for Term 3 of 2023. Week 9, Night 4. And all roads lead to, first up, the Interlagos circuit in Brazil. And round 9 of the production car series, the second and final outing for them in the Toyota 86 car. And 2 sprint races ahead of us here. And then, of course, we're heading to the circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. So you've got 2 Formula 1 Grand Prix venues on the agenda tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for the penultimate round of the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. That race over 60 minutes for you. I'm Zach Caban, Daniel Correa-Sars here alongside me. We are getting ready to rock and roll with race 1 of the production cars in just a moment, of course. There's the circuit and the track conditions, 9, 9, 10 in the morning. That's going to update in a second, so I'll come back to that side of the totem pole. 27 degrees is the track temperature, 21 the ambient at the moment, 4.2 kilometres this circuit, 91% humidity. That's not surprising. It is the Grand Prix configuration. Basically, it is the only configuration of this circuit. They have got a little kink for motorcycles around coming onto the main straight, but there's no other variants of this circuit apart from that. As I said, this is week 9. This is night 4. Next up, of course, next week we come back on Thursday night for a double header of Australian classics with Mount Panorama playing host to the Aston Martins for the GT for the production cars, I should say, and then of course on to the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit for 3 Porsche races. So we've got 5 races for the price of 2. Next Thursday night. Chris and Brendan Whitaker will start us off in the front row of this grid with Adam Lavis and Jordan Malcolm alongside them on the second row. Then Adam Lavis and Matty Brunt, the third row, Anthony Adshead and also Reece Gosner, the fourth, Nick Wood and Dale Sharp from row 5. Not the biggest field in the world tonight, which is a little bit disappointing. Can't say I'm surprised. Matt Schmidtke and Kurt Chapman from 6, Pete Matson, Tony Baker from 7, Robert McGrath and Philip from 9. Now, on that note, we couldn't do this without the great support of all these people. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give them a nod straight off the top tonight. Waste Options, All Big Australia, Blackout Electrical Solutions, Login Systems, Astute Finance, Fisher and Door Lawyers, and Flash Graphics. Can we bring that totem pole back up that shows us the weather conditions, please, Daniel? Just to give everyone an idea, the server, of course, has jumped forward as it does at the end of each practice and qualifying session. There it is, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 25 kilometre an hour winds, 24 degrees the ambient, 40 on track, and 76% humidity. So everything's warmed up. The humidity's dropped a little bit. Ready to rock and roll. We'll intro Daniel in just a moment. He'll be punching the buttons for us right throughout the course of the next 3 hours, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you can stick in there and hang in there with us for the ride. There's NRLW tonight. The AFL finals are underway. September, it's a lovely time of the year. And then, of course, there's a one-day international between Australia and South Africa as well. So when we go around the grounds, we've got plenty to get stuck into tonight. Open racing, race 1 of the night. The Toyota 86ers making their way down towards turn 1, the Interlagos circuit, and already fanning out. 2 and 3 wide further back in the pack, but at the top end of town, it's Linus turn single file. Chris and Brendan Whitaker leading the field away. Adam Lavis has made a nice start up in the 3rd place. Jordan Malcolm slots into 4th. And it's the morning after the night before, ladies and gentlemen, for a lot of these people, because last night dropped a massive update with regards to season D of 2023. We'll get to that very shortly. Anthony Adshead, you're watching him at the moment. Aidan Schultz, Nick Wood dropping down 3 spots in the opening few corners there. Aidan Schultz and Kurt Chapman, one up 3, the other down 3. Chapman the big mover on the opening lap. No incidents so far through the first handful of corners. And now we are very much single file through the tight, technical, twisty second part of the circuit, the second sector. 15-minute race, this one. The next one, 25. Have a look at the clock as they come back around. I can't imagine you get too much change from 8 laps around here, given the pace of these cars thus far in this opening race. There will be a splash and dash requirement in the second race. And just quickly quickly, updating the AFL, Collingwood 2-0, lead Melbourne 1-0. That match underway, NRLW still to come. First one-day international, Australia and South Africa getting underway 9 o'clock Eastern time. We're hoping to find clear weather in South Africa for the cricket tonight. Of course, the NRLW taking centre stage on a Thursday with the NRL on a night off as we get ready for finals footy across the course of the weekend. Chris and Brendan Whitaker have bolted. Brendan having looked down the inside and then thinks better of it. Adam Lavis and Jordan Malcolm. Malcolm fancies his chances around the outside. Nicely done. 2 minutes of standing lap time there for Chris Whitaker. Those times will come down just a smidgen as this race continues. David Christensen's found himself in trouble and has dropped down 2 spots. Philip King up 2. Matt Schmidtke down 4, the big loser on the opening lap and all of that. Kurt Chapman up 3 spots, the biggest of the movers. Through they go. We're riding on board with Robert McGrath. The only way is forward for him. Last of the runners at the moment. Saw on Facebook earlier today, Dale Sharp running a distinctive South Australian tribute livery. We'll get a look at that a little bit later on for Dale. Here's Nick Wood in the meantime, being passed on the inside by Kurt Chapman. Good clean start, Daniel Career Sar. Good evening to you.
Hey Zach, how you going? Yes, it is a nice clean start. I think we might actually be incident-free. I think Nick Wood went off slightly a bit earlier, but other than that, no major incidents, so it is good to see. Almost 4 minutes down here in this 15-minute session.
And on that subject, Josh Zuno, welcome in to you from Race Control. So far, so good. Looks like you've got an easy night at the office thus far.
Yeah, well, it was if I was in the server to start. Unfortunately, it wasn't admin, so I had to join with about half a second to spare and do the drive a preamble in about 30 seconds. So that was interesting.
At least you got it done, mate. That's the main thing.
That's it.
We'll hear from you throughout the course of the night. Jordan Malcolm, 151.35. So that changes the old equation just a smidgen, doesn't it? Because if they're doing 10 seconds less than the 2 minutes, oh geez, it's going to be touch and go. It's going to be touch and go as to whether they get back to the line to start. And geez, they'll get 8, but it's a matter of whether they'll get 9 or not. And I say that because, well, 2 minutes is fine. That's easy enough done. But then you start to lose 8 seconds a lap. So that takes, at the moment, we're losing 8 seconds off that 2 minute threshold. So over the next 6 laps, there's 48 seconds, which by my mathematics will get us back to the line. It'll be 11 minutes and 12 seconds. Which gets us back to the line with only 1:48 on the clock. So no, I'm going to stick with 8, but it will be by the skin of its teeth rather than the 2 minutes, which we've taken us to 16. So it'll be an 8-lapper, but not without a slight bit of trepidation from yours truly. Around we go. We've got Nick Wood. We're riding on board with him. Aidan Schultz is just ahead. That calculation's interesting for the next race, though, gentlemen, and I'll get to that very shortly. Down the main straight, look at them hugging the inside of the Armco there. Brendan Whitaker now to the outside. Chris Whitaker moves across to cover it off. Whitaker wanting somewhat of a return to form in this caper. Been an interesting couple of weeks for him. Caught up in incidents last week. Absent a couple of weeks before that with the Leeburn sprints. So he's desperately trying to salvage a championship here, is CW. Whoa, Nick Wood on the grass. Now, we'll get to that a little bit later on as well, because there's been some updates with regards to the off-track surface from iRacing. One of our favourite pastimes has now been buried, committed to iRacing heaven. More on that a little bit later. The update wasn't all good, ladies and gentlemen. Now, back we go. Grant Gill down on the inside of Pete Matson. Behind them, Matt Schmidtke, Phil King, David Christensen and Robert McGrath. Battle packs all over the place here, but overtaking hasn't come freely. Two Whitakers, Malcolm, Brunt, Lavis, Gosner, Adshead, Schultz, then Wood and Chin. We're riding on board with Wood. We're coming up over the rise and around to the start-finish line once more. 4 laps gone. It's gone relatively quickly. 7.5 minutes. As Chris Whitaker crosses the line at 7:35, and that's the only thing that makes me happy that we're only going to get to eight laps here, ladies and gentlemen. Is that carryover of the 5 seconds after 7:30. 151.358 for Jordan Malcolm was the fastest lap of the race. These two lapping in the 151.5s as well, and the 6s last time round, but the Malcolm was only about 0.03 of a second faster than that, so he's not gaining at a terrible rate of knots. And that'll work to Chris and Brendan's favour here. It's good to see Malcolm having a run in the Toyotas. Brendan just popping the nose out and saying to Chris, if you don't keep it straight, I'll sweep up the pieces and happily clean up your mess. Adam Lavis under all sorts of pressure here from Reece Gosner and Matty Brunt, and Brunt's coming down on the inside of Gosner. Brunt wants 2 for the price of 1. No. He might get Lavis on the exit, up into the right-hander under brakes. No, Lavis comes across to cover it off, and very nicely done. 5-car logjam here at the moment. That's Aidan Schultz going off the road and dropping down a bunch of spots. His woes continue. His woes continue. Oh, he did it all on his own, but look at that. Just got the tail end a little bit squirrely. Off camber, easy enough to do in that part of the circuit. Started 4th originally, 5th originally did Schultz, and now has dropped outside the top 10. Will be desperate to try and get back inside the top 10 for that threshold, of course. That's that invert. Comes up at the end of this race. We flip the top 10 on its lid. Everyone else will start where they finish this opening race. And good to report that we've still got 18 runners. Schmidtke and Schultz down 7 apiece. The mover remains, well, it's Kurt Chapman, it's Tony Baker, it's Grant Gill, it's Phil King, all up 3 spots. And Jordan Malcolm still has the fastest lap of the race to his name. No change on that lap on lap. The boys, actually the 2 Whitakers pulled away 0.2 of a second that time around on Malcolm. So they've got an advantage of 2 seconds now. And here comes Lavis and Gosner. Brunt on the outside of Lavis. Brunt hanging there around the outside, hanging tough, and he's about to have some support in the form of Anthony Adshead as well. Have a look at the run that Adshead's got here. Down the inside of Gosner, down the inside of Lavis. Adshead's got 2 for the price of 1 as Brunt goes through to 4th. And Lavis tried to go deep, too deep, left the door open. Adshead around the outside, he leaves the door open for Gosner. All the hard work undone right there for Adshead. Oh boy. How good's this? It's only the battle for 4th. Let's just highlight that for a moment.
Oh, he's flipped the car!
Oh, Nick Wood for the monster. That one's going nowhere but the back of the garage. Sorry, Nick.
He actually flipped the car.
He flipped a Toyota 86. He flipped a Toyota 86 and he did it all on his own without any sort of assistance. I don't know what sort of challenge he had set for himself tonight, but I don't think that would have been it. these four continue on. The only swap here has actually been Brunt and Lavis. Head sitting there in 7th. We're right on board with him now. The penultimate lap of the race. Brendan giving Chris a big hurry up still. That is a four-way fight. You've got your eyes on there, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the back of it, riding on board with Anthony Adshead. Whoa. Adshead hugging those triple strips. Almost murdering them. But no mistakes thus far. These four have been brilliant. So at the moment, Aidan Schultz has got himself back up to 10th. Has got back hold of that invert slot for the start of the next race. Grant Gill is 12th. Tony Baker 11th. Pete Matson 13th. Everyone except Nick Wood still running. Wood will sit in pit lane waiting for the start of the next race. He will be charging through from 18th. Chris Whittaker will come to the line this time by. Should be the white flag. Let's just keep an eye on Barney, please. They come down the main straight.
Yep, there he is on the left.
The white flag to the left-hand side. There is. Barney's got the last lap board out. Last lap flag in the air.
Oh, Gosner on the inside of Lavis. He grabs him.
About time too. Gosner's only been waiting for that opportunity for the last 3 laps. Gosner down on the inside to P5. Whatever the case, he and Lavis are going to share the 3rd row at this rate. Here comes Brendan Whittaker with a charge. Brendan Whittaker down the inside of Chris Whittaker to the lead, but then runs it wide, covers it up. Brendan Whittaker's going to lead this thing to the checkered flag, potentially. Chris will have something to say about that in the number 1, but Brendan Whittaker has found his way to the front. He's just been slowly chipping away at it for the last 7 laps, nipping at the heels of Whittaker. And they've built a buffer to Jordan Malcolm of about 2 seconds. It's now close to a 1.5 seconds, 1.25 seconds. The damage done. Malcolm won't catch them. But Whittaker's thought, you know what? I've had enough of seeing this rear view. This rear end of this Toyota in front of me. I want clear air. And that's exactly what he sought and exactly what he got. The last sector of the last lap of the opening race of the Toyotas from Interlagos. Remembering we've got the Porsches from Spa a little bit later on. To the left-hander and up the hill for the last time. Brendan Whittaker's going to get the job done over Chris Whittaker. Team Whittaker 1-2 at Interlagos. Another lock out of the top 2 spots on the front row, which catapults them back to the 5th row of the grid for the start of the 2nd race. Well done, Brendan and Chris Whittaker.
Oh, that's to the...
Whoa! Reese Gosner in a photo edges out Matty Brunt. Gosner gets 4th at the post. What an incredible run up the final corner. We saw them coming. We didn't have any idea of how close it was until they were literally at the bottom of your shot. Reese Gosner pips Matty Brunt at the post. Makes up for what was a pretty lonely run in behind Adam Lavis for much of the night. Here they come. That's the replay for you. Gosner to the outside. Gosner with the run. Pips Brunt by that much. Adam Lavis in for 6th. Anthony Adshead, Kurt Chapman, Aidan Schultz and Dale Sharp make up the top 10. Grant Gill and Pete Matson just in behind. There was an incident late in that piece as well. We need to find out who for. But well done. Yeah, Chris and Brendan Whittaker 1 and 2, commonplace on a Thursday night in the production car caper over the last 2 seasons. They've notched up another one. Oh boy. Great racing. Round the grounds for you. 5:20 left in the first quarter of the AFL qualifying final. Collingwood, the minor premiers, looking for a spot in the prelim. And Melbourne are the opponent tonight. 2-2-14 plays, 1-0-6, low-scoring game at the G. Collingwood in front by 8 points.
I'm going to have to go back at some point and see if I can't get a snap of that finish.
Josh Zuno, from your standpoint, let's bring you in at this moment, just to fill a gap here, if nothing else, because there's bugger all happening on the circuit for the next minute or so. From your standpoint, you couldn't have been happy with how that went.
No, mate, I was counting sheep, just filling my time. That was just the definition of gentleman's racing, Everyone was being very, very good. Nothing to say, really. It was, very clean.
Although that being said, we must approach this second race with a little degree of caution, mate, because we know that the drama usually happens when we invert a portion of the field.
Yeah, most definitely. And, well, I guess we know what happens when cars go slightly sideways off track now as well. So, yes, people will be doing their best to stay on the black stuff.
That was the most spectacular moment of the night for Nick Wood, no doubt about that. Oh, boy. End up off the circuit and on your lid and in the wall. Spectacular. 4:30 in the afternoon for race 2. And clock moving twice as fast as it would in the real world. We invert the top 10. Dale Sharp will start from pole alongside Aidan Schultz. So what the hell happened in the closing stages there to Tony Baker? Because he was sitting 11th ahead of Grant Gill and also Pete Matson. But they're now sitting 11th and 12th. Sharp, Schultz, Chapman, Adset, Lavis and Brunt the first 3 rows. Then Gosner, Malcolm and the 2 Whitakers make up the top 10. Gill and Matson from 6. McGrath and Christensen from 7. Schmidtke, Baker from 8. And King and Wood from 9. Watch Nick Wood to be the big mover in this race. Watch Chris and Brendan Whitaker to move up 8 or 9 spots as well. Ready to rock and roll. The final time we'll see the Toyotas on a Thursday night in the production car series in turn 3. Let's go to work. Slow, sluggish start. That's just Toyota Racing 40. Look at that, a nice jump. Chapman a good start as well. Dale Sharp's about to be swamped here. They make it towards turn 1. Sharp's hung out to dry, but he's managed to get across and cover off the chasing pack. Adset's there, looking to go around the outside at 2. Lavis is side by side with him. On his inside is Matty Brunt. They've made a clean start. Whoa, Gosner. That was wild. That wasn't totally controlled. Nick Wood's already jumped up 3 spots as well, 15th. Chris Whitaker, the early mover. Up 4 spots on the inside of Adam Lavis. Brendan Whitaker wanting a piece of that as well. Wide went Dale Sharp. Right wide went Matt Schmidtke. And Grant Gill as well. Malcolm, we're right on board with him in 9th place now. He's lost a spot from the start. And Reece Gosner's lost 3 of them. Down the inside, trying to get by Whitaker, who's on the outside of Lavis. On his outside, of course, is Aidan Schultz, who's down on the inside of Dale Sharp. Not mucking around there, Schultz. Started second. It's already lost a bit of ground to Chapman, Adset, Brunt and Whitaker. And he's trying to fend off the rest of them. Good luck with that. Hip and shoulder. Adam Lavis slow out of the right-hander. And 3 wide. That won't work. Gosner's down on his inside. All of a sudden, Lavis is back to 10th. 9th, 10th. No, he's going to try and hang tough and try and go back to 8th around the outside of Jordan Malcolm and does so. The way that you can take that much extra speed around the outside of a corner in these cars, you don't pay too much of an invoice for that. One lap gone. Chapman leads Adset. Brunson, Whitaker and Schultz, and Sharp. Oh, Brendan Whitaker up into 6th place now. Display Sharp. Lavis is there as well. I tell you what, Dale's done well. Somewhat of a sitting duck there in the early stages. As you are when you are 10th fastest and thrust up to first place on the grid. Malcolm there side by side with Lavis and Gosner as well. Lavis out wide. Gosner down, he's inside. Sharp's been passed by Malcolm. Malcolm, but Sharp hanging there nicely. Trying to force the issue and make life difficult for Malcolm. Does so. Well done, Dale Sharp. Holding his own here at the moment. Malcolm trying to go deep through the right-hander to get the inside, running to the left-hander, and he's done that beautifully. Oh, trademark stuff from Jordan Malcolm, and Sharp hung out to dry. Now he has the arduous task of trying to defend the inside from Gosner. Off goes Aidan Schultz. Off goes Aidan Schultz again. He's about to get gobbled up. Here is Schultzy.
Something's happened to Sharp as well.
Yep, Dale Sharp has come undone while we were having a look at Schultz. I'd say it'll be under brakes at the right-hander. Sharp's dropped down to 17th. Very unlucky for him. Let's have a look. Firstly, this is what happened to Schultz. Oh, we were talking about Josh Zuno having a quiet night. That's ended. We'll be investigating that one. That was Matty Brunt, I believe, getting into the side of him. And then this with Dale Sharp. Oh. He's got himself undone.
Yeah,
he's done it
tap
all
the
on
back
his
of the
own.
car.
Four minutes gone. Geez, a lot's happened. Got a Malcolm 152.089. Nick Wood to pit lane and out again. That's strategic. That's tactical. He'll go green and have a cool track for much of the rest of this race now. Here comes Jordan Malcolm looking for P5 on the inside of Matty Bryant. Thanks for coming. Malcolm on a charge here. Chris Whittaker's got up to second, but Kurt Chapman has bolted. 2.8 to the good. Whittaker adds had a Malcolm in behind that. Malcolm being hassled by Matty Bryant here. Schultz, Gosner, Lavis and Christensen make up the top 10. Look at that logjam of cars, Daniel. It's impressive.
It is.
The boys have kept it. I mean, one incident thus far. One bit of car-to-car contact. Everything else has been beautiful.
It's good. They're keeping in each other's draft. Like a snake all around the circuit. And then, I mean, you've got time to be patient, really. 5 minutes into a 25-minute session. But then, as we count down, I'm sure the desperation will start to kick in. Of course, there is a fuel strategy to think of as well. So nobody will be wanting to do too many overtakes because then you're just helping the guy behind.
Doing my due diligence of sharing the broadcast across to my personal platforms. 5:45 gone. Welcome to those who are just joining us. This is Thursday night motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Collingwood have dominated the opening quarter at the G. 26 to 6, 4-2 plays 1-0 at quarter time. Melbourne in all sorts of strife early in the qualifying final. Whatever the case, the loser comes back to the MCG next week. The winner comes back the week after to the MCG to play sudden death footy. Good evening to Chris Bleakley. Hello, mates. Tuning in, cheering on Jordan Malcolm. Here's Brendan Whittaker pushing Chris Whittaker all the way again. They've closed the gap to Kurt Chapman, who was wide at 4. It's now 1.3 seconds. So they're making light work of reeling Kurt Chapman in here.
They're doing it very cleverly too. What you're seeing is Brendan's basically just giving a small nudge to Chris ahead, otherwise known as a bump draft. And by doing that, he gives Chris just a little bit of extra speed. And then as they follow each other down the straight sections of the course, they will slowly but surely catch up to Kurt ahead. And then they'll probably work together to try and box Kurt in, and what you'll see is Kurt probably slide down to third if he's not careful.
Down the inside, Pete Matson's been displaced by David Christensen there. Up into 10th place now. Matson 11th, Robert McGrath following in close pursuit in 12th. Brendan Whitaker punches out a 1 minute 50.832. I don't think we made it into the 50s in the opening race. So we've gone into uncharted territory there, faster than what we were in race 1. Very nicely done.
Matt's going to try keep the outside line here in preparation for the bottom of the center S. He's a little bit too far back. Actually, I think he took that way too fast. McGrath might just close up the gap now.
He did well to gather that up, actually.
He did. He did very well.
But it very easily ended up in the grass. That's given Christensen a little bit of breathing space.
And there we go. During that, Chris Whitaker managed to make his way to the top.
Kurt Chapman's got found himself in the middle of a Whitaker sandwich with Chris one side and Brendan the other. Jordan Malcolm, Matty Brunt, Anthony Adshead. Have a look at that for a fight. And Reece Gosner in there as well. Adshead down the inside. Oh, Gosner so close to the tail of Matty Brunt. Brunt now squeezes down the inside of Adshead. That's very nicely done. Back up the outside. Aidan Schultz is now in the mix of this as well. He'll be on the inside of Gosner. You can't see him at the moment.
Oh, he gets him.
There he is. Have a look at Schultze. Standing out very nicely in the distinct Cessnock Goanna type black and gold colours. Very nice from Schultze tonight. That's a great livery. Up onto the main straight.
He's giving him the hurry up here. Might have pulled out of the draft too early there, Reece. Yeah, you've lost that time now. Gets back in. Tries to clamber it back to the first turn. Curious if Brendan goes down hard on the inside here, which he does. And that's going to allow Malcolm on the inside as well.
Yep. Oh, they did well to get through there. Whoa, Stills. Car to car, side to side contact there. But they kept it clean. But they're not doing themselves any favours because they've let the two Whitaker boys bolt. Have a look at this. The two Whitakers. Then that battle pack of 3. Then the battle pack of 4. Osner trying to get back down on the inside of Schultz. 15 minutes to go. All of these guys yet to stop. Tony Baker's parked up for the night. He's done. Everybody else still running. We can't take our eyes off the top end of town. This is brilliant. Robert McGrath's got rear view mirrors full of Phil King and Grant Gill at the moment. But the rest of the pack is embroiled in one hell of a scrap here. And Schultz is on the inside of Gosner. Holding on to 7th.
This pack is inseparable. Oh, something's happened. Gill's managed to make 2 spots at the back.
Oh, go, Robert will explain why. Last done. He gets back on. He's ahead of Dale Sharp, but it's a big mistake for McGrath. Lavis and Gosner to pit lane. Now the games have started. Adshead is in as well. So too Christensen. So top 4, as far as the corrected order will be concerned, will be Adshead, Lavis, Gosner and Christensen now. As those guys come to pit lane at the end of lap 6. We're expecting... Oh, geez, Phil King. Okay, so if we take 8 seconds a lap off the pace, that's 80 seconds. So that's going to get us back to about 18 minutes and 40. Add 3 laps from there, and then splash and dash time. That's 13. Potentially 14 laps tonight in this second race, depending upon the pit lane transit time. 13 would be good fishing, but there is a chance that we get 14. By the skin of their teeth. Is that... No, I'm going to go... I'm going to settle on 13. Just looking at the clock there, we're on lap 7. Coming back to the line to complete lap 7. At the end of the 13-minute mark, we're not there yet. And of course, we've got a splash and dash transit to come. Oh, it's touch and go. It is touch and go. It's frustrating, actually, because I normally can put a definitive number on this, Daniel, and I can't at the moment. Into pit lane they come, all of them.
Oh, I'm not too sure if they're just using that for the speed. Yeah.
No, I thought they were... Oh, well, actually, Kurt Chapman's dived in. Everybody else continues on at the end of lap 7. So they've just come to the end of the line at 13 1/4. So that's only 45 seconds off that they've shaved off the clock thus far. Interesting. Well, 13 by 110. If I can do that. So 13 11s are 100 and 10 11s are 110, 143. So 14 and a half minutes, or 24 and a half minutes in this case. Yeah. No, I think it'll be 13. There we go. I'm going to back myself on that now. Now that I've done the maths a little bit more confidently. 14 minutes and 14 seconds gone. Whittaker, Malcolm with the fastest lap of the race again, 1 minute 50.651. Have a look at this. Have a look at this. Reece Gosner and Adam Lavis working their way back through the field. And up there on the outside is Matt Schmidtke. Distinct dark blue, light blue, and yellow livery there. First score in the NRLW as well, folks. Cronulla leading the Dragons 6-0. We'll go around the grounds all night long for you. There's Nick Wood being displaced by Anthony Adshead. Big night ahead on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Porsche racing from Belgium as soon as we're done here. Matty Brunt into pit lane. Christensen off track. What's going on for David Christensen? Oh dear. Matty Brunt is in 7th place, and that's what happened to Christensen as he returns to the racetrack. Matty Brunt comes back out in 7th behind Grant Gill. So he's first on corrected order at the moment for those that have completed their splash and dash. Have a look at the two Whittakers. Brendan and Chris side by side at the top of the hill. Through the sweeping right-hander. Jordan Malcolm's right there as well. Malcolm not diving down the inside just yet. Lavis doing a nice job in 12th place right behind Reece Gosner. We've got Nick Wood ahead of them and Matt Schmidtke behind them. So there's the talking point while we watch this battle for 3rd, 2nd and 1st at the moment before these blokes come into the pit lane. And Jordan Malcolm last time around 1 minute 50.531, fastest lap of the race, is that Nick Wood, by virtue of the fact that he pitted early, has got out ahead of both Reece Gosner and Adam Lavis. So he's right in the fight all of a sudden is Nick Wood. Round they come. On towards the main straight. Do they come in this time round? Malcolm couldn't get any closer to Whittaker if he tried. Down the main straight we go. Do they come to pit lane this time by? Yes for Chris Whittaker. No for Brendan Whittaker. No for Jordan Malcolm. Whittaker pulls the trigger first. He zigs, the others zag. To turn 1 we go once more. 4 laps to go. And I'm now feeling a lot more comfortable about that estimate as well, given that we're only just now seeing pit stops play out. And it is a long pit lane because the run around turn 1, turn 2, you don't rejoin the circuit until turn 3. 3 wide, Reese Gosner down the inside of Anthony outside of Nick Wood. Whoa! Nick Wood holding on around the outside. Hanging tough if you don't mind. Holds on to 9th. 5 cars left to stop, as well as Matt Schmidtke, make it 6. Robert McGrath to pit lane. Phil King continues on, so that makes it 7. King's out of the fight, though. We won't worry too much about that. Here comes Gosner to the inside of Wood. Gosner to the inside to try and get the 9th. Thanks very much for coming. And Lavis takes out 10 at the same time. They're both wide. Gosner and Wood. They're arguing over the same piece of real estate still. All happening on a Thursday night in Brazil.
Schmidtke's managed to tag up the back of this pack now, so we've got a 5-car battle.
Problem for Schmidtke is he's still got to stop if we've done our numbers right.
No, that's right. He's the
Still
only
gotta
one of
stop.
that pack who hasn't come into the pits, so this will be for naught. Oh, and that's not gone good. That's not gone for good for Wood at all.
Nick Wood gets hung out to dry. Even Matt Schmidtke's going to try and gobble him up.
Malcolm has also
Doesn't.
passed Brendan at the front there.
So Malcolm continues on to lap 11. Brendan Whittaker comes to pit lane. Oh, it's touch and go. Here they come, down the main straight. Jordan Malcolm yet to stop, 5.5 minutes on the clock. They're now lapping in the 52s and 53s. So every second we lose per lap to that 1 minute 50, the closer I am to being right with it being 13 laps. I'm not terribly confident. I'm just starting to get the feeling that they're going to squeeze a 14th in, which is good news for us. It'd mean a little bit of overtime, but by gee, the old Zaculator's been given a workout this week. Here comes Adam Lavis. 10th place at the moment. Jordan Malcolm there. Aiden Schultz, Chris Whittaker. And Whittaker the first of those to have stopped. Whittaker is the reference to the point of when we get back to the line. Whittaker stopped for 5.8 seconds and has come out bloody 3 seconds, 4 seconds up the road on Brendan. So this is Chris Whittaker's race to lose.
Oh!
Chris is the benchmark. Whoa! Contact and Nick Wood's been involved in another incident tonight. That one a little bit more aggressive than the last. Okay, Chris Whittaker's the reference point. When he comes round to the line, he's going to tell us everything we need to know about what's left in this race. And as I watch it, I'm now starting to think that Whittaker will take us. Whittaker will take us on his own to 14. Malcolm and Schultz are in. Whittaker's coming up towards the line. Can we get a look at the start-finish line, please? There it is. Here comes Whittaker. Across the line he goes now with 4 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock. We will go to 14. So there you go. Chris Whittaker will get us to 14. It will be by a couple of seconds. There won't be much in that. He will get us to 14. We'll go to overtime. Is that good news or bad news for everybody? Let's wait and see. Ad's head down the inside. Of Lavis. Lavis back down the inside again. They're going to go side by side through 3. Whittaker, Malcolm, Brunt, Chapman and Schultz, the top 6. That's on corrected order now because the field is cleansed. Gosner gets out down on the outside. Gosner on the outside of Schultz. Schultz down the inside. Who's going to win that fight? Schultz for the moment.
That's a great pit exit for Schultz.
Magnificent, in fact. He's been the big winner in this race, hasn't he?
He really has.
I mean, he's lost 4 spots, but really, when you think about the fact that he was involved in a couple of incidents early in the piece, that's a nice recovery. He was staring down the bottom barrel of, 9th or 10th earlier in the piece, and he's worked his way back, and he's done it with a bit of grit and determination, which we can always rely on him for. Whittaker and Whittaker, Malcolm, Brunt and Chapman, the top 5. Malcolm 3rd, Grunt 4th, Chapman 5th. Whoa! That's flirting with the edge. Next time by, so Whittaker starts the penultimate lap this time by. Lap 13 is where we get to. Next time by, white flag, lap 14. It'll be about 9 or 10 seconds on the clock when they come across the line to get that white flag. Up the outside, Gosner. Down the inside, Ad's Head. Schultz Piggy in the middle. Down to turn 1. Whoa! Ad's Head and Schultz nearly made contact there. That somewhat balks Gosner, and the door's been left open for Lavis. Lavis goes down the inside. Chris Bleakley makes a good point. The undercuts had a big win here tonight. Nick Wood up 8 spots into 10th. Chris Whittaker up 8 spots. Brendan Whittaker up 8 spots. And they've both bolted. Whittaker's put 1.8 on Malcolm. Chris has put 3.8 on Brendan. Collingwood leading Melbourne 33-7 at the MCG. Melbourne staring down a date with a semi-final next week with the winner of one of the elimination finals this weekend. So Lavis is in the middle of this fight. Schultz and Adted ahead of him, and Gosner behind him. Nick Wood is 10th. Dale Sharp, David Christensen, then Pete Matson, Grant Gillimat, Schmidtke. Chris Whittaker, 1 minute 50.859. Last time around, will lead the field to the white flag. Brendan Whittaker, 1 minute 50.975 last time around, so they're the only two in the 50s at the moment. Everybody else in the 51s and the 52s. White flag in the air. Up the outside, Schultz on Adshead. Adshead back down the inside.
Oh!
Schultz made the door, but no, he doesn't. And Lavis gets caught out, and so too does Gosner. I thought Schultz was leaving the door open there, and he didn't. And Adam Lavis is quick to redress it. This is how it happened. Oh, yeah. Gosner was left with nowhere to go. Adam Lavis just had the door firmly shut on him, judging by what we saw, and I'll be interested to get the thoughts of Josh Zuno in a moment. But that's totally and utterly decided those battles. That sorted all the garbage out there. Jordan Malcolm, the fastest lap of the race, but it's only going to be a third place finish here, a podium finish. He'll back up what he did in race 1. The difference is going to be at the front where the two Whittakers have swapped it around. Oh, Aiden Schultz down the inside of Adam Lavis, and how close were they to coming together? Lavis gets hung out to dry. Schultz back down the inside, Lavis up the outside. Schultz still trying to get that position back. He'll feel as though it's owed to him after what happened at turn 1, but I'll be interested to get Race Control's take on that, because from where we were sitting, it just looked like the door firmly shut in his face. Round they come. The final lap, the final sector. Chris Whittaker's on his way to the checkered flag. Another Whittaker Motorsport 1-2. Another win for Chris Whittaker, the defending champion. Round honors are going to be very interesting because it'll come down to bonuses. But they've both got a first and a second. Whittaker Motorsport sweep tonight. Malcolm 3rd, 4th, Chapman 5th, and Adshead 6th. Nick Wood's going to hold off Reece Gosner in the fight for 7, and Lavis has got Schultz covered at 9th and 10th. Lavis got Schultz. Well played. Oh, Christensen just held off Dale Sharp. Take a breath. My goodness gracious me.
So, addressing that incident there,
something else. Hello, Josh Zuno.
How you going? Sorry, just addressing that incident there where it's like Aiden kind of got a little bit balked and Adam had his entry compromised because he was just, braking a little bit differently to we usually would, and unfortunately there's a bit of that was close. There wasn't much Adam could do there, but unfortunately Aiden was entitled to take the corner, so that is on Adam there.
Copy that. So there will be some action taken from race control, I take it?
It's as light a penalty as they come, a 5 second because of the redress.
Copy that. And that will unfortunately plummet Adam down from 9th to 12th. Schultz, Christensen and Sharp will all benefit from that. Pete Matson, 13th, Grant Gill, Matt Schmidtke, Robert McGrath, Phil King and Tony Baker. Baker, unfortunately, a retirement there, the only one of the night. Chris and Brendan Whittaker, the winners. Nick Wood, the best mover, up 11 spots. He was the beneficiary of that Gosnell, Lavis and Schultz garbage. He gained 3 spots there. That gives him the biggest mover of the night. Jordan Malcolm gets the fastest lap, bonus points as well. Brunt, Chapman, Adshead, Wood, Gosner, Lavis and Schultz, the top 10. Wow. Extraordinary. And there's more of that still to come next week when we get to Mount Panorama and the Aston Martins. The Astons didn't deliver, much positive and life-affirming sort of action a few weeks ago at Magny Core, but by gee. By gee. It'll be good when we get to Bathurst. Anything's good when we get to Bathurst. We never leave just deflated or disheartened.
Correct.
Let's hope we get some drivers in here to have a chat to us in just a moment. First cab off the rank. What a surprise. Guess who it is? Chris Whittaker, good evening to you. Another impressive performance from the Team Whittaker Motorsport stable. Jordan Malcolm had your measure as far as fastest laps were concerned, but by gee, the racing was red hot. No holds barred between you and Brendan tonight. He got one, you got one, but the undercut was extraordinary for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out how it worked so well, to be honest. I know Brendan missed his pit pace, so that explains the gap there, but I'm not sure what happened with Jordan. I came out of the pit and he was only 16 seconds in front, so I don't know if he might have had a bit of a moment on the lap that Brendan was in the pit, maybe. I'm not sure, but it all worked out all right for us. Unfortunately, one incident in that second race. Well, I'm trying to claw back whatever bloody points I can on that 79 driver, but all in all, not a bad run, but good racing, good night of racing, good clean racing throughout the field from what I could hear anyway. A couple of incidents as always, but we're so close with these things, and as always, so hard to pass around here. It was actually pretty cool.
I was going to say, your nemesis wasn't on the track tonight, but the other Chapman, no relation, is in the booth ready to have a chat to us as well in just a moment. In saying all of that, though, with regards to the Toyota 86, obviously big patch update last night from iRacing. Have you noticed any difference in this car?
No, honestly, no. Might be a little bit more stable on the cold side than what it was during the week, but outright pace. I did a PB in qualifying, but that was the coldest track temps that we had practiced on. So, it didn't, to me, really feel much different at all, to be honest.
The Interlagos circuit, always a good one to go racing on, and it doesn't matter what we bring here, whether it be a TCR or a Toyota 86, you guys seem to quite like it, you and Brendan.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks, Anthony as well. Anthony's actually the one that got us hooked on Interlagos many moons ago in the skippies, but there's a bit of a weapon around here in those things in this day, but it makes me sound like an old bloody man. But it's worked all right for us. It's one of those tracks, it's actually really boring to drive by yourself, so it's hard to commit to doing practice by yourself. So if you've got a couple of cars around you, someone to play with, different story, you've got a little target to chase, it makes it a bit easier, but especially these things are just so slow around here. you kind of need another 400 horsepower or thereabouts to make it exciting. But you know, it's one of those things. Once you're in the pack racing, it's you know, and obviously to extract the lap time of the slow car is, you know, is a different art form to doing a lap time in a high horsepower car as well. So it was a good combo. Don't get me wrong, loved every minute of it, but just it was hard to sort of maintain focus on yourself.
That's fair. I was going to say, getting a couple of comments with regards to YouTube there that our director will be able to have a look at. I'll leave that with you, Daniel Correa, sir. See what you come up with. CW, when you look at the production car series, again, you guys have somewhat dominated it. It'll be nice to come out and put a full stop on that next week at Mount Panorama when we get to the grand finale. But the Aston Martins are a completely different sort of beast to the Toyota 86s, and particularly around Bathurst.
Yeah, they're a wild ride around there too. They're a super quick car, and a very hard car to drive as well. So I think if you look at the top end of town with us, Brendan's got a fairly substantial points lead. I don't know if he can actually be beaten at this point in time. I'll do those numbers during the week because he's got an extra drop round in hand. So I'd say, you know, utilising a second drop round, if he binned it next week or couldn't make it for whatever reason, he's still going to gain probably 40 or 45 points. I think the disparity is just too great now. So I'd say he's probably got one hand on his first championship against me. His second championship outright. Blow the trumpet a bit because I can. But yeah, it's a cool combo out there in the Aston. I think, you know, depending on the weather, we should be, I was saying last week, you know, well and truly 158, 159, something like that if we've got cool enough weather. They're rocket ships around there, but the traction control is absolutely mental in them. No ABS is complex, obviously, down the hill in particular. So yeah, expect a bit of carnage, I reckon. Be interesting to see how many of the starters, well, how many starters we get, because it will be tricky, but how many of the starters actually finish both races, and if anyone can do it instant free.
And of course, before we get to Term 4, because we haven't yet had it showcased or revealed on our platforms exactly what's happening on what nights, but I've seen some of the ideas, some of the drafts of what's going on, and there's some substantial change heading our way. But with regards to you, obviously production cars to one side, production sports is your next assignment in a couple of weeks' time, and a couple of 1 hour races, I understand.
Yeah, well, we're actually waiting to hear what the actual format is. So
that's a good point.
Brendan was fortunate enough in the 2 1 hour enduros a couple of weeks ago to team up with Joe Barbagallo in the 991.1 Cup car, which was just absolutely epic. Punched some seriously quick times in his first time ever in a Cup car. Would have been mid-pack in Porsche Challenge, which is just absolutely unbelievable. We were blown away. Knew he had some talent, we didn't know he was that bloody good. But yeah, so he's got the call up again for the finale. They're leading the Enduro Championship for Prod Sports. So yeah, he's been told he's only allowed to drive this time if he actually absolutely sends it. So keen to see what happens come the end of quali on a nice set of green boots. But yeah, as for this side, mate, I'll be on the pit wall with the headset on and pulling the shots with a bit of team manager protocol. But yeah, it's actually quite fun. Really enjoyed it. That was my first time running the sort of team manager role, I guess, on the pit wall and getting involved in strategy and whatnot after all the years of, you know, swearing at 888, making poor decisions in the super taxis.
Yep, exactly. There's already conjecture about that today, given that they've abolished compulsory pit stops for the upcoming Enduro season. Interesting reading that. All right, very nicely done. Hang there. I'll have a chat with you off here in just a moment. Don't forget, folks, we've got the Porsches coming up from Spa-Francorchamps in a few moments' time. Kurt Chapman, welcome into you. Challenging night, that really tough racing in these cars for some of the drivers around you, and that ended up being to your advantage. You were, what was it, 8th across the line in race 1 and 5th in race 2, mate. So even though you started 3rd and dropped 2 spots, you finished further ahead in the pack at the checkered flag than what you did in race 1, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. I've found that these races are really like slipstream dependent, and trying to keep with the faster guys who are, you know, a couple tenths to a second faster than you can really bump you up the results at the end of the race. And that was basically my race plan for race 2.
You held your own early in the piece. Couple of incidents around you, good strategy play, and then obviously the incident there at the end with Wood, Gosner, and Lavis. Gosner, Wood, Gosner, Lavis, and Schultz rather, all getting into the side of one another. That ended up being to your advantage as well, mate. So to finish only 0.5 of a second off Matty Grunt, you would have been happy with that.
Yeah, I was really happy when I come out of the pits and I found that he was only 1.8, 1.9 seconds in front of me, trying to get onto the back of him and just have a clean race from there.
Not sure what the outlook is potentially for production cars next term 4, but would you like to see this format go around again?
Yeah, it's pretty fun turning up in a different car, different track each week. Puts a bit of variety into it. Like tonight, it's I think my first top 5 in a long time.
Nicely done. What about you, CW? Would you like to see this format continue? As, I mean, let's be perfectly honest, it has been one of the more successful for the Whittaker Motorsport stable.
We've gone all right in this series, so I'd like to see it back, but sometimes change is as good as a holiday as well. So intrigued to see what the committee throws at us for next season. But we'll be in something, I'm sure. Just a matter of what, I guess.
Very nicely done. Kurt, your initial thoughts on the Aston at Bathurst next week?
I haven't driven it yet, but I'm sure it'll be a hands full across the top.
Oh yeah. We have seen, I'm pretty sure we've seen the Astons at Mount Panorama before on our servers in a Mountain Men broadcast that we did a couple of years back. So we are familiar with the car on the circuit, but it has been a while between drinks. Boys, thank you. Appreciate that. Well done on your results tonight. CW on a, and then of course, you Kurt on that top 5 finish race 2. Well done on that, and good luck for the next week.
Cheers, bud.
Cheers. Thank you.
Quick break on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Back with more on the other side. We're turning our attention to Porsche racing from the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Same deal as always. Once the pictures come in from the circuit, you'll see qualifying on your screen. Commentary will resume closer to the end of the session. This is night 4 of week 9 of term 3 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club as season 2023 rapidly gets away from us. See you soon. Terrific to have you company wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world across the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. You're looking at the famed Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium. And the penultimate round, that's the setting, at least for the penultimate round of the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. The open split and the elite split combined here, of course, a field of 27 lining up tonight. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that server will switch over in just a moment. We will have a look at the updated track and temperature settings and conditions for you when it does. But it's a 7.004 kilometre circuit. iRacing measurements just a little bit out there. 62% humidity, partly cloudy conditions. Pivotal round of the championship here. After what we saw last week and a shocker for Samuel Sproul, Matt Dench leads this by 70 points. He could mathematically clinch the championship tonight if Sproul has another shocker, but because Sproul is the only one that can stop him mathematically from not winning this crown. It is an incredible dominance that he has etched in this championship, much similar to GT3, of course, where he wrapped up title number 7 the other night. It's he ran out of adequate superlatives after a while to describe the brilliance of this bloke and what he's doing to the competition and the stranglehold he has on the number 1 spot. He has pole position again tonight. It is by a quarter of a second. Matty Dench, Samuel Sproul, Corey Lazarus and Dylan Shepherd. Matty Dench leads the championship. Sproul, Muir, Adams, Leach, Barker, King, Lazarus, Smith and Wright, the top 10 of the point standings at the moment. Dane Snadden, Dylan Shepherd, Aaron Cooper, John Merritt and Ben Pedersen make up the top 15. When we look at the open split points, and we can do that now for you, Paul Wilson leading the way, 51 points clear of Adam Lavis. Joe Baldwin's just a little bit further back now. Did Trucker get in the server tonight? Yes, he certainly did. Good boy. Stephen Galich is there in 4th place. Nick Wood, Chuk Fung Wong, Greg Padgett, Brett Bradbury, David Christensen, and Chris Riddell. Or Ruddle, rather. Half-time in the AFL fixture. The qualifying final, Collingwood 5-3-33, lead Melbourne 2-4-16. In the South Africa province of Bloemfontein, 9 o'clock is when the match gets underway. Australia up against South Africa. Australia won the toss and opted to field. And in the NRLW at the moment, it is Thursday night football. It is the Sharks up against the Dragons. It's the first match of round 8. It is the Sharks leading after 47 minutes of a 70-minute game. It's important to note 6-4 over the Dragons. A lot of layover time here as we wait for the cars to line up on the grid. There we go. We tick into the race server now, and we do so by having a look at the grid. But before that, should acknowledge Blackout Electrical Solutions along with Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Login Systems, Astute Finance, Fish and Door Lawyers and Flash Graphics. Without them, none of this happens. Dench and Sproul, the front row, 6 o'clock in the evening. So we're heading towards 8 o'clock local time, server time when this race is done, because as we know in these races, the clock moves twice as fast in server time as it would in the real world. Lazarus and Shepherd, the second row, Pedersen and Smith, the third. Muir and Knight, the fourth, Leach and Snadden, the fifth. Track temperature at 25 degrees ambient at 20 at the moment over the page. Alan Dawson, Aaron Cooper, Jordan Malcolm and Jeff Adams make up the top half of the field, the first 7 rows. Brett Barker, then the pole sitter of the open split, Nick Wood. Richard King, Paul Wilson, David Christensen and Joe Baldwin make up the top 20. Beyond that, Damien Bishop-Taylor, Stephen Gallacher, Adam Lavis, Tristan Koch, Pete Matson, Grant Gillade and Schultz make up this field. So it's 13 and a half rows deep, 27 cars. They will just fit in on that main straight there from turn 20, the bus stop chicane. This circuit's gone through its fair share of tweaks and alters over the years. But this has been the setup here for a while at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. There will be some updates required on this circuit though, because as we know from Formula 1 visiting there earlier in the year, they've actually replaced a lot of the AstroTurf and runoff area in certain parts of the racetrack with deep buried gravel traps once more, which I think is a great way to go. Nothing's going to catch a car better than them, as we've seen on our platforms through our Discord chat servers earlier today with the update to the gravel trap at Mount Panorama. We are set for a start. This is the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. This is the final 60-minute race at the term. Next week it's Super Sprint Racing from Phillip Island. Let's get ready to rock and roll. Set to go now, green and away. Matty Dench says goodbye. Great start from Aaron Cooper and Dane Snadden. Relay tracks up the field. 2 and 3 positions respectively. To turn 1 we go. So far it's safe, it's smooth, it's clean. And we breathe a sigh of relief. Oh, jeez.
Here we go.
Down to Eau Rouge. Give each other a little bit of room there, boys. Yep. Discretion the better part of valor there.
There's one way to avoid the carnage.
Dylan Shepherd's got by. Corey Lazarus, so too Ben Patterson on the run down the Camel Straight. We're watching the battle with Nick Wood at the moment. Into the braking zone we go. Uh-oh. Oh, that's a slowdown. And that's Andrew Smith. Andrew Smith has dropped 14 spots on the opening lap. At the front, Dench has started beautifully. Sproul, Shepherd and Patterson. Corey Lazarus has dropped 2 spots. Muir's up 1. Leach is up 2. Dawson up 3. Knight down 1 and Adams up 4. Malcolm up 2. Barker up 3. Wilson up 5. Cooper down 3. Aaron Cooper in trouble now on a slowdown potentially. So Cooper and Smith, the big losers on the opening lap. So too Dane Snadden down 8 places. Everybody else going okay. Damien Bishop-Taylor, a non-starter. We're down to 26 cars. Greeting the starter in this one at Spa-Francorchamps. 2 minutes 20 about the average lap time around here. So that gives you 3 laps every 7 minutes. There are 8 of those in 56, so that gives you 24. So with a couple of splash and dashes, you're looking at 26 laps tonight at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. With a substantial amount of overtime, remembering full well that we can get back to the line. Whoa, hang on. Samuel Sproul having a lunge, trying to get by Matty Dench. The 2 championship combatants going at it on the opening lap. And Sproul's left the door open for Dylan Shepherd to plunge down the inside to turn 1, and he will. He'll take that invitation. He won't wait for a second one. Shepherd goes to second. Dench controls the field. And the running order at the moment. Down to Eau Rouge once more. Two of the fastest corners in world motorsport. And Pedersen all over the back of Sproul at the moment. They cannot afford to squabble amongst themselves here, or Dench will get away. We know how this rodeo works. Sproul has a Bo Peep down on the inside. Dench controls it. Yeah, so 220 and 220 would get you to 1 hour and 40 seconds. So as long as those pit lane transit times are sub the 80-second mark, and remember, they've got to do it twice. So it'll be, 23 or 24. I think 23 safe betting, but don't be surprised with Dench's speed if we get to 24. It depends on the stationary time and the transit time through pit lane. Because you've got a buffer of 1:40 there. Whoa! Trotter Malcolm's had a monster. Uh-oh. Oh, jeez, he did well. And everybody's taken evasive action around him. But that has catapulted him down the order to 25th place. Andrew Smith's been to pit lane and parked up for the night. He's done. Andrew Smith has parked up and retired on the opening lap. Because as we saw in the Toyotas, you can come back to the start-finish line anywhere in that last 10 seconds of regular time before overtime commences. As long as you're back at the line before the clock expires or elapses, then you get that extra lap. So 23, 24 maximum tonight. 23 minimum, 24 maximum. Jared Knight, Guy Leach. Guy Leach is on screen at the moment. Trying to go with Sam Muir. 2:21.0 for Matt Dench. 2:29 for Sam Muir. That'll be the other thing that upsets the ledger there as well, Daniel Correa-Sarg. Good evening to you once more. That'll be the thing that upsets the ledger. is how, because obviously qualifying pace and race pace are two completely different things. We're in the 19s in qualifying through Matty Dench. But so far, we're only in the 220s, the high 220s. So every second we lose out of that time chews into that 100 seconds of transit time we've got. So, and that's for 2 runs down pit lanes. So that will play a huge role in determining exactly how many laps of racing we get here tonight. But what a place to go racing. The more laps, the better. And, I mean, if we get 23, that's still... Whoa, have a look at Sproul. Putting the pressure on Dench. And you don't normally see overtaking manoeuvres through there. It's bold and brave. It's usually if you're capitalising on somebody else's mistake. Magnificent. But yeah, Daniel, welcome into you. If we go 23 kilometres, it's 23 laps, it's 161 kilometres, which isn't bad going.
Yeah, not at all. Porsche and Spa, name a more iconic duo. We should be in for a absolutely spectacular race. I mean, Spa usually never fails to provide a good race unless it's raining and it's Formula One. In which case, then there's some contention. But here with the Porsche Cup cars, I think we're in for a good one, as you said. Strategy is going to be pretty key here, with fuel saving even more important, considering we're looking at a multi-stop. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Matt Dench, usually one to let others do the work for him at the front, but considering we've got a 60-minute timer, I think maybe for the first stint, he wants to just put as much time between him and the guys behind as possible.
Would not be surprised at all if this is a similar tactic to what we saw at Mount Panorama the other night. There it goes, Pedersen down the inside of Sproul. Pedersen to second. Through the bus stop. Nicely done. Opportune moment. Would not be surprised if Dench applies the same tactics as he did the other night. He's not pulling away from the field, but he said to us on Monday night with the McLaren around Mount Panorama that there was absolutely no merit in him fuel saving at all. None whatsoever, which is why he won the thing by 17 seconds. Do not be surprised if there's not much to be gained from following rather than leading here at Spa, and that might be why he's happy to control the race from the front from the outset.
Yeah, well, we'll see it as it develops. Also, what a great camera angle there on the curb at the bottom of Eau Rouge. Just seeing the cars go straight over. Oh, there goes Pedersen on the inside. Matt really didn't give him a fight at all, so can't imagine he's too worried. And now they'll start using him as a big cleaver for the air. These cars do look
so
great.
Pedersen decides, I've had enough of this. I don't want to be a follower. I want to be a leader. And he's taken 2 cars to the price of 1 in 2 sectors. Oh, very nicely done. First it was his teammate, then Matt Dench. The first time we've seen the number 1 not in the top spot so far tonight. 220.339 for Dylan Shepherd. Despite being 2 positions lower than where he started, he's the fastest car on the circuit at the moment. He's following Guy Leach. We're riding on board with him. Sam Muir is just up the road. That's the next car in view. Then it's Sproul, Dench, and Pedersen in pretty quick succession. But Shepherd, he's sitting there with Guy Leach at the moment. And he's got Rd-9 for company. The distinct delivery of Rd-9. Have a look at it. And he too will be hoping for a better run than what he had on Monday night at Suzuka, at least. In GT4. Geez, he was happy to see the back of that track.
There's a lot of position switching down at the back there. Malcolm and Gallagher. Malcolm down 10 positions. Jeez, that is a rough start there. Oh! That's Sam Round.
Samuel Sproul. Oh dear. Another defining moment. Jordan Malcolm, of course. Oh, jeez.
Oh, it's teammate.
Oh, contact. The 2 teammates. This is exactly what we saw at Road America. For those 2. 2 teammates coming together inadvertently.
And he's just stuck
and Samuel
there.
Sproul is sitting there, a desperate last on the racetrack. And that could well be curtains as far as his championship aspirations are concerned. Oh boy. Talk about defining moments. That's one of them right there. We need to have another look at that if we can. Oh, hang on. Rd-9 having a look there at Guy Leach. Couldn't get it done. So Muir moves up into second now after the contact with Pedersen and Sproul. Shepherd moves up to fourth. Guy Leach back to fifth. And Rd-9 is sixth with Corey Lazarus applying some serious pressure there at the moment. And Lazarus himself is down from third originally where he started. So the big losers out of tonight thus far have been, well, Aidan Schultz is parked up. He's done for the night. Andrew Smith down 20 spots. And of those that are still running, Jordan Malcolm down 11 from 13th to 24th. And Samuel Sproul from 2nd down to 23rd. And that could well be game over as far as this fight is concerned. It was 70 points coming into the night. Dench to Sproul. Dench has more carryover drop round points at his disposal than Sproul. And now, as far as the running order is concerned, Sproul sits 14th in the elite split. I'm not too sure of the points matrix, Daniel, but I know there's more points available on an enduro night like this compared to a regular sprint round over 40 minutes like what we saw last week. That will have an impact as well. Matt Dench could now well and truly have one hand and three fingers on the trophy for title number 7 to continue the stranglehold, the dominance grip that he has on this field in about 48 minutes time.
Cracks the fastest lap as well, 2:19.7.
2:19.776 just to make a statement. My goodness gracious me. Wow. That, yeah. Dave Dench has summed it up perfectly. The Blackout boys are having a shocker because we know what happened at Road America. It didn't go to plan there. And it's not going to plan here for them either, but Ben Pedersen wants to make a fight of it with Sam Muir. And he gets down the inside. Pedersen back to second. And all the meanwhile, Dench has bolted 3.3 seconds up the road. Daniel, it didn't take long. Goodbye. So here it is again. And Sproul got the... Okay, okay. So if you go on board with Sproul, you'll notice just how much the gap or the surroundings around him closed up and evaporated and dissolved. And that was Pedersen trying to have an attack on Dench, and he got it all crossed up and all sorts of out of shape, and it just wasn't clean at all from Pedersen getting across the ripple strips. There he was way outside the circuit. He was too deep into the corner. He completely misjudged it, bounced across the ripple strips, and then has lit it up on the exit and not been able to control it. Bang, there's the contact. Night done for Samuel Sproul. Not sure how much damage Sproul sustained, but he is in pit lane and has been for 31 seconds. We follow that with interest as well, because if Sproul does stay in the pit lane and park it up, that will be the championship done, as far as I'm concerned. Can you believe that this has happened again? Of course, last week he wasn't classified at the Suzuka circuit. Got caught up in another incident there with a back marker, if memory serves. It just has not been the one season where it looked like Matty Dench might be under some sort of pressure, Daniel, with Sproul at least mounting a challenge, even though his teammates were somewhat sporadically in and out. It looked like we were going to have a fight go down to the last round. We can feel a little bit deflated now that that's probably not going to be the case. 15 minutes gone. We're a quarter of the way there. Not quite halfway there. Hello, Bon Jovi. But we're a quarter of the way there. Rd-9 loses out in that battle to the end of the back straight. Down the inside goes Corey Lazarus on Guy Leach. Nicely done. Thanks for coming. Lazarus Can he take Knight with him? Knight having a look down there on the inside, trying to get by Leach. Can't do it. Leach trying to get back in front of Lazarus now.
Okay,
Dench, Pedersen, Muir, and then Shepherd. Pedersen, Muir, and Shepherd separated by a code of varnish. Win this battle. The two closest battles on the track are for 2nd and 5th. And confirmation that Samuel Sproul has retired from the race. Samuel Sproul's night is done.
That's so
Samuel
rough.
Sproul's season is possibly done as well.
Yeah, that's so rough considering
Oh boy.
it's a teammate. Like,
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
15 minutes into a 60-minute race. And I understand that track position is key. I do get that. But for Pedersen to just rejoin like that and then lose... Because there's nowhere Sam goes. There just isn't. Samuel has nowhere to go. He's already on the inside. Pedersen just loses the rear end, which is very easy to do in these Cup cars. He goes to the left. And then it's just... Like, life is so cruel sometimes. Just so cruel.
Yeah, it bumped me head in here as well. I'm not too sure what happened. It looked like he's done a drive-through of the pit lane, pulled over and towed. So, yeah, I don't know whether he missed pitting in for his instant repair or whatnot, but yeah, he's parked up for sure.
Could he have boxed? Yeah.
Yeah, he could have. The boys have 2 instant repairs tonight, so yeah, he was well entitled to use either of those, but he chose not to.
What a calamity. What a monumental disaster for that team. And what a massive dose of anticlimactic nature we've had just thrown all over this race. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Dench the leader on lap 8 by 4.5 seconds to Pedersen, who won't be in too much of a hurry to get back to the Blackout stable garage, I might add, after this race. Sam Muir and Dylan Shepherd are 3rd and 4th, and Corey Lazarus are 5th. Guy Leach and Jared Knight behind them. Aaron Cooper, Jeff Adams and Alan Dawson are sitting there making up the top 10. And I don't think it's a laughing matter, but I get why you were. Not that I was trying to be funny, but maybe I'm just naturally talented in that regard. Wow. In more positive and life-affirming news, gentlemen, I've just opened Instagram. There's the beautiful Delta Goodrum. 18 days till I get to see her at the Opera House. Cannot wait. That'll be the start of term 4. I will not be here for the start of the term. I've already made my my intentions to be absent well and truly noted to the club personnel that are setting up the broadcasts for next season. So thanks in advance to whoever's covering my backside that night. Paul Wilson in 12th place at the moment. So let's actually have a look at the class breakdowns for you. Paul Wilson leads the open split at the moment. The elite split's already claimed a couple of victims there with Samuel Sproul and Andrew Smith. Jordan Malcolm's already completed a pit stop from the elite split. It's important to note, sitting 14th in class. That stop was only 7.52 seconds, so not enough, I wouldn't imagine, to help him out a great deal. He'll need to stop a couple more times from there to get him home. And that would have been to maybe take a fast repair and touch up the damage that he sustained through Eau Rouge last time round. Behind Wilson, as far as the open split is concerned, is Joe Baldwin, Nick Wood and David Christensen, Tristan Koch, Adam Lavis, Pete Matson, Stephen Gallacher and Grant Gill. We've had 3 retirements thus far. Dane Snadden down 7 spots. The big movers of the night. Patterson up 3, Muir up 4, Leach up 3, Cooper up 4. Adams and Barker both up 4, Paul Wilson up 6, so too Joe Baldwin, Richard King and David Christensen up 4. 6 for Tristan Koch, 5 for Pete Matson, 4 for Adam Lavis. So 4's the common denominator at the moment. And Grant Gill up 4 spots as well. Nick Wood to pit lane, the first of the scheduled pit stops here at the end of the 20th minute of play.
Another thing of note, we're just ticking over a third of the way through this race, and I can tell you there's a lot more than, I'm going to say 3/4 of the drivers have used more than a third of their incident points. So we shouldn't keep our eye on that one.
Yeah, you will indeed. They've always got to be careful when they come to Spa because there were some updates last year, I think it was, that caught everybody napping with regards to iRacing just tightening the belts as regards to what's acceptable and what's not in regards to track limits. So, yeah, everyone's going to have to be on their toes with regards to that, and it might mean that they've got to, slow down by a tenth of a second here, a tenth of a second there, just to dot the I's and cross the T's and avoid an unscheduled pit lane transit. Keep an eye on that. Matt Dench, Jared Knight. Matt Dench is the leader. Pedersen, Shepard, Muir and Leach in front of them. We're watching Leach from the cockpit of Jared Knight. Matt Dench is going around to start lap 10, so with that in mind, why don't we do the same? Why don't we crank the volume up here and now and listen to the sound of the Porsche at work in the hands of Jared Knight chasing Guy Leach. Jared Knight, the master of the craft. Very nicely done. And now straight into pit lane. So we couldn't have timed our run with Knighty any better if we tried. Dench continues on for lap 11. Knight comes to pit lane. No other changes out there. Ben Pedersen's off the road. Ben Pedersen's off the road at 1. He's lost out to Dylan Shepard and Sam Muir. Ben Pedersen's had a moment at turn 1. Another moment for the Blackout stable in a night full of them. Jared Knight, David Christensen on pit road. Nobody else taking the bait at this point in time. And now Pedersen back down the outside of Muir. Pedersen back to third. It's been an ebbing and flowing sort of night. 1 minute he's there, next minute he's playing catch up again. For the second time tonight he's embroiled in drama. But did he do it all on his own? That's what we need to find out. Oh, Glorioski. Corey Lazarus is 5th. Guy Leach is 6th. Aaron Cooper, Dylan Dawson, Jeff Adams and Brett Barker make up the top 10. Best of the open splitters, Paul Wilson in 11th. Field not yet cleansed for the first time. We've still got a round of pit stops to play out here for a host of cars.
With all this
Matt
fighting.
Dench, the leader, and it's now just blown out, Daniel, and I think that's the point you're about to make,
Yeah,
mate. He's out
that's-
to a lead of 8.5 seconds.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what I was going to say. With all that fighting, Matt has just put time. We've still got 3/4 of the race to go.
Oh, well.
Oh, sorry.
actually.
No, yeah,
No.
my bad. I read that as 100. That is how smart I am, ladies and gentlemen.
Matt Dench to pit lane at the end of lap 11. I'm not touching that with the barge pole. Not touching it at all. Here they all come. And the scramble, the mad dash to pit lane commences. An inch is as good as a mile on pit lane. Particularly when your fight is as close as this. Now, don't be surprised if we see someone undercut here. 11 laps is that critical number. So if you're backtracking from 25, 26, what did we say at the sorry, hang on, 24, 25, 26. If you're backtracking from 26, you could do a mad, 4 or 5 lap stint here and then come and top up. Certainly Sam Muir's gone short. Shepherd, Muir, Pedersen back out on the racetrack. That explains it. Okay, thank you to you, Josh Zuno. Pedersen missed his box. That's why Shepherd and Muir were able to get out in front of him. Dench has extended his lead. Dench has extended his lead out to 11 seconds. And the pit time was only 16 flat for Dench and 16.3 for Shepherd. Oh, boy. And just about everybody else that hadn't come in yet has come in. A winner in all of that, Rd-9 up 3 spots to P5 there after that first round of pit stops. With only a fuel of 14.7, so he's got to make up that 1.2 seconds to everybody else next time around. Hopefully you're enjoying it wherever you're tuning in. On the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, quickly going around the grounds. Sharks and Dragons full-time. Cronulla over St George Illawarra in the women's NRLW Round 8 fixture. 16 points to 8 at the MCG. Collingwood lead Melbourne, and they do so comfortably. 26 points with only 2.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. 9:4:58 to 4:8:32. Melbourne look like they're coming back next week. And in South Africa at the moment, the Aussies are keeping it tight against South Africa in the early stages of the opening one-day international in Bloemfontein. South Africa, none for 8 after 4.2 overs. Yes, it's a one-day game, folks, not a test match. I'm a bit surprised by that too. One-day Cricket World Cup commences this time next month, actually. October 5, 4 weeks' time.
Whoa. Wide line.
Yeah, Benny Pedersen's all over the shop tonight. My goodness. He's having some sort of a night. It's been chaotic and entertaining for us. It's been frustrating for his team. And no doubt for him personally as well. Wrong place, wrong time. For much of what's unfolded. Down we go again. Another lap of this 7-kilometre Spa-Francorchamps circuit, steeped in history and tradition, legendary for all the right reasons. Shepherd, Muir and Pedersen, the next 3. So they're losing time to Dench per lap. 12.25 second lead. Then this battle, a race in 3, it just continues on behind them. And they've got 5 seconds on Knight, who's got Lazarus and Leach for company. Sproul, Schultz, Smith all out of business. Half a lap covers the field. But it's such a long circuit that you shouldn't be going down a lap here unless you run into incident and have to get a tow job.
If I can just ask, it was 20 incident points.
That's correct. I'm looking at one person very close to a drive-through.
Yeah, we've still got half the race to go. I got it right that time. See, I do learn. And yeah, I can only imagine. I'm only watching a couple of cars here, but I'm seeing some definite off tracks, so this might come into question.
Yes, there is one driver whose name I won't mention until he does get the next incident point, but he's sitting on 19 out of 20.
That's going to be a tight colon for that particular driver for the rest of this race.
Yes. Pedersen. Could it be Benny? Could it be Benny? Keep an eye out. He's been in his fair share of drama tonight and had. It's been a war within a fight for him. There's no doubt about that. 31 minutes gone. We're past half race distance. We've completed lap 13. Tenchi's on the run home.
Another thing just to point out really quick. Matthew Dench is the only car on track to have hit the 219 mark. Everyone else floating around in the 220s. I see a couple of 221s, some 222s. So yeah, Matthew Dench just holding that pace. And the last lap, mind you, was a 219.9 from him. So that 13.5 second gap, expect that to increase.
100%.
Here comes Pedersen on the inside.
And to be fair, that's his second 219 of the night. Second 219 of the night. He's the only driver in the 219s. We're not surprised by that. Muir back down the inside of Pedersen. Pedersen wide. Pedersen wide. Muir back down the inside. Good luck, Benny. It's been a wretched sort of night for him. 25 points Collingwood lead Melbourne by at the MCG. The AFL finals underway. The first and only Thursday one, so I'm very happy about having Saturday off, boys. I must admit, once I get out of work, come straight home and park the backside on the lounge and watch the AFL and the NRL finals all night Saturday. And then we've got our own Rugby League Ipswich Grand Final on Sunday as well that I'm lending some comments to at the ground at the North Ipswich Reserve. If you're there throughout the course of the weekend, come and say good day. How good's the curbside cam? They're brilliant.
It is.
Just quickly want to say too, good luck to everybody competing at Sandown this weekend in the Shannon Speed Series round. There's been a lot said about that series and the people organising it and running it of late. Let's keep our fingers and toes crossed that everyone in that paddock has a platform to race or a category to race in, and a platform or stage to race on next year. There's been a fair bit of discussion and chatter around the paddock. It's a great category, and there's a lot of people who, that's their job. That's their 9 to 5. So we've got our fingers crossed that they can turn a corner and get some more cars on the grid and get some more interest going and just get a better run of luck going, because I think the worst thing that happened to the ARG suite of categories was that COVID struck just as they were starting to get some legs and muscle and some grunt and they were starting to gain a following. All the momentum, everything got sucked out of the sails when COVID happened, because they had a season that didn't happen in 2020 and then half a season in 2021. So for everyone at the Australian Racing Group and their suite of categories, the Speed Series, fingers crossed that everything starts to head in the upward direction in the not too distant future. Down the inside, here comes Stephen Gallagher on Pete Matson. Grant Gill down in 23rd at the moment. Sproul, Schultz and Smith remain the only retirements. We've picked up Aaron Cooper, haggling Guy Leach. Just listen to that Porsche hard at work. There are only 3 battles on the racetrack at the moment. Christensen's just got by Wood for 15th outright, which is second in class in the open split. If you're watching the other battle, Knight, Leach and Cooper here, have a look at those two side by side. No holds barred there. Nick Wood, very nicely done. Christensen around the outside, hoping to hold the inside for the right-hander, and will do so. And, of course, the other battle is Shepherd and Muir at the top end of town. They've gapped Benny Pedersen. Corey Lazarus is out on his own. Jared Knight is the next. Oh, Christensen's gone! Christensen's gone! He's had a moment. The car's on right instead of left. Christensen has buried it in the sand. Let's have a look at it again. He got through on the inside of Nick Wood. Now, was there contact? Oh, there might have been. I think we need to have a look at an onboard from Nick Wood to verify that, and Josh Zuno will no doubt be doing that as we speak. Let's have a look at this. Onboard with Nick Wood. Now, similar to Adam Lavis. Gap's not necessarily there on that occasion, though. Definite contact, and Nick Wood knows the situation and is automatically redressing it. So that tells you everything you need to know about that. Jordan Malcolm back to pit lane. Can he pit from here and get home? I think so. Josh?
Sorry, that angle didn't really give that accident justice. That was a big net code. There was a good foot in it. I don't believe Nick was going to make contact without the net code. So, yeah, just a bit of a book to the net code there.
All right, but in saying that as well, Nick obviously not aware of that because he went to redress by the looks of the footage that was seen.
We're in the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, mate, and I think Nick's a good person, so he's just doing his due diligence.
Good on him. But they've given up track territory to Joe Baldwin, to Adam Lavis, to Tristan Koch in the process. Joe Baldwin sitting second in the open split at the moment with a good 6 seconds on Adam Lavis, and he's got ground on Tristan Koch. Nick Wood's now dropping down the order as well. Nick's off the track. Uh-oh. Nick Wood is off the road. Now, is that at the end of the back straight or halfway along it? Let's have a look at this. Nick Wood. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It's Radion. Radion strikes
always, again. Yeah. You always know it's going to end badly when the replay starts coming into Eau Rouge and Radion. Watch this. Oh. Goodbye. Nick Wood's night is about to be done. He'll link that back to pit lane. He's got Grant Gill now in close tow. Guy Leach is 8th. Dench the leader, Shepherd, Muir, Pedersen, Lazarus the top 5. Just seeing a little post here on Facebook, and I think it's worth giving a shout out to Greg Padgett. He'll probably be tuning in, the great man, from the hospital bed as his recovery continues with the lung transplants and everything else that he's had going on in his world in recent weeks. And Rhiannon Padgett, I'm not sure of the relation there, whether it's a daughter or a sister or a niece. I'm not sure of the relationship, but she's gone on and put out a lovely message to say happy birthday to Greg for tomorrow. So that goes from all of us here at the Gentleman Sim Racing Club to you as well, mate. And September's full of the great birthdays, I will say that much. But it won't be probably the most memorable birthdays he's ever had there in the hospital, but hopefully there'll be enough people on deck to brighten the day for him as best they possibly can and make it as memorable as possible. So good on you, Greg. That goes from all of us here. And look forward to having you back in the rig at some point, hopefully in term 4 if we're lucky. Corey Lazarus sitting 4th at the moment. Ben Pedersen is 5th. That battle continues. Please, please, please let these two get to the checkered flag cleanly. We cannot afford another Blackout Electrical Solutions teammate on teammate incident. We've had enough of them in this season. Well, the naming rights sponsor is getting enough of a run for its money. There's no doubt about that, just not in the way they'd like to, Daniel.
Yeah, like I said, it's funny how things work out sometimes. Again, just a real rotten bad string of luck there for Samuel Sproul. Last week at Suzuka, a massive incident that took him out of the race. And then again, here at Spa, and all the while, Matt Dench just absolutely flying away with it. 16.5 seconds on Dylan Shepherd, and a 220.3 does a 221.1. Matthew Dench is enjoying the freedom, and he is making it work.
17 seconds. Just incredible, and there's still 19 minutes of this garbage to sit through, ladies and gentlemen, because we know how it ends as far as the top end of town is concerned. There's nothing confusing about that. There's nothing unknown about that at this point. It's the minor placings that are still somewhat maybe up for grabs, because Lazarus and Pedersen are closing in on Muir and Shepherd. So that will instigate a four-way fight in the closing stages, which is something to be excited about, I guess, on a night where very little else has kept us amused, to be honest with you. Guy Leach, they're in 8th place at the moment. Cooper is just ahead of him. So we've got 3 active battles inside the top 10. But I get the feeling that the next round of pit stops is going to make or break some of them. Lap 18 minutes to go. Dench is on his way to another checkered flag and another Porsche Cup. Now, we can't call this as confidently as we did on Monday night, boys, because Adam Lavis hasn't crunched the numbers and the points matrix hasn't been updated. But last week he came into the round with more than a round on the competition. So all he had to do was beat Oscar Glissett and tick a couple of other boxes, and the job was done. Tonight, with Samuel Sproul's DNF, he's the only one within a round of Dench coming into tonight that could have got in the way of him and wrapping it up tonight. But that's about to evaporate. It was 70 points the advantage. I think he needs somewhere in the vicinity of 105, 106. He'll have more than that, depending upon the drop rounds for Sproul. That's the only unknown there. So one way or another, Dench is going to have either both hands around the trophy firmly in his grasp and secured, or he's going to have one hand and 4 fingers on the bloody thing by the end of tonight. Just more dominance from the benchmark of the club, and he has been that benchmark for a year and 3 quarters now. This is 7 championships on both the Monday night and GT3, and then whether it be a Wednesday night or a Thursday. So not just sim racing, this guy is among not just the best in the country, the world as well. Guy Leach, we ride on board with him, chasing Aaron Cooper. Let's crank up the volume once more. We are going to check.
Yeah, mate. Sounds good.
If you're just joining us, it's Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We are coming to you live from the virtual Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium. We are broadcasting round 9 of Term 3, at least, for 2023 of the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. A definitive and defining round as far as this championship's concerned. Matt Dench could end up as the champion tonight and not have to turn up next week to Phillip Island, but well, in one respect, and we've got Josh Zuno here in the commentary box with us as well. In one respect, boys, I don't mind that necessarily for Denchy because it means he can come out and have some fun with it next week. At the same time, we're bound to get a couple of ring-ins on next Thursday night because it's Phillip Island. So in terms of having the championship wrapped up, there's so many different things that he won't have to worry about as much. The pressure will be well and truly off.
I mean, it's always a factor having ring-ins in the last round, but the championship's already decided by the sounds of it, so I'm sure he'll be drinking the champagne before he even puts his boots on.
Absolutely.
It's a shame too.
We're on lap 21. No one's yet entertained the idea of coming to pit lane as far as that top 7's concerned, Daniel.
Yeah, no, and it is really a shame because Phillip Island and these cars are such a sweet matchup. I fully expect some incredible racing next week, and it would be made just that little bit better if it was, for the season contention. But oh well.
If the championship was on the line, yeah, I know what you mean. It feels like turning up for a dead rubber in, an NBA final or a cricket tri-series final or whatever the case may be, or an Ashes series. Turning up for a dead rubber. It's mainly just to tick the box and go through the motions. We've been here before, especially with Dench. It's happening on Monday night. We go to Road America for 90 minutes, which will be fantastic, by the way. Uh-oh. Round goes, and it's on the tow rope. Round goes Pete Matson. Maddo's on the tow rope. Maddo's night is done.
Very smart, just getting off the track there for everyone.
Very nicely done, Pete. But the Orbic Australia entry that he is these days, with the Bailey's Ladders livery on tonight for the Porsche. So Matson's on pit road. He would be, if he does retire, he'd be the 4th retirement of the night. So the attrition hasn't really been a factor. It's just been who we've lost. Andrew Smith, who's had top 10 finishes in this championship before. Aidan Schultz, who was impressive in the Toyotas. Samuel Sproul, who was the only man standing in the way of Dench in title number 7. Matson's done. Matson's out. Dench continues on to start lap 22, so this time by we expect him in pit lane to complete his second and final Splash and Dash, his compulsory pit stop. Jackson Rayhana, the great man. How good to have him tuning in on a Thursday night. We're well, mate. Nice to have you on board. So yeah, Monday and Thursday night next week looking like dead rubbers as far as the main course is concerned. But can we inform you too, ladies and gentlemen, that the AM split for GT is still GT3 is still well and truly alive. There's I think 5 different championship contenders there going into the final round. Can I also tell you that the GT4 series is on the line? Can I also tell you that the production car series, the minor place battles there are still very much on the line as well. Here's the 3-way fight. Shepherd, Lazarus and Muir down the back straight. And Patterson only a second and a half away. These guys come to pit lane at the end of this lap for their second and final stop. They'll tick that box and then they'll just get themselves through to the checkered flag. And Denchy's halfway through this lap, 9 minutes 10 seconds to go. Yeah, it's touch and go. It really is as to whether we get that 26th lap that I was talking about, because it's 7 minutes for 3 laps. We know that. Dench is still punching out 2 minute 20 neats. If anyone's going to drag the field to 26 laps, it'll be Dench. But let's look at the time when he leaves pit lane at the end of this lap, because that's going to be the key indicator for mine. Getting perilously close to 8 o'clock server time. The lights are on and ablaze. Dench, Shepherd, Lazarus, Muir, and Pedersen. The top 5, or 4, I should say. Yes, 5. Cooper, Leach, Barker, Knight, and Wilson take us back to 10th. And Wilson, of course, the leader of the Open split at the moment. Still the top 8 to Brett Barker, Wilson, Baldwin, Gallacher, and Gilder stop again. And Dench is on pit road. 8 minutes on the clock. Yeah, I think Dench is going to drag this to 26 just quietly. And I said 25, 26 at the start of the race. And I said 26 with the asterisk next to it or the disclaimer rather. But it would be by a few seconds. Out goes Dench. 7.5 on the clock. 3 laps in 7 minutes. He'll get back to the line in the last half a minute of play to take us to 26. So all these guys will be aware of that. This will be a quick, short, sharp splash and dash. Enough for 4 laps of fuel. Oh, Mueller's missed the box this time.
So is that Pedersen?
Mueller's time to miss the box. And Pedersen's done it as well.
Oh, Mueller's in the car.
Oh. Sam Muir and Dylan Shepherd, you can't get any closer than that. And that was even with Muir cocking up the pit stop. Or at least the pull up to complete the pit stop. Oh boy. Melbourne on a comeback at the MCG. Collingwood lead 60-47. There's 10.5 minutes left on the clock there. They're heading for a 10 o'clock finish at the G. In the NRLW, we've already told you that the Sharkies got the job done over the Dragons there 16-8. And in South Africa, after 9.4 overs rather, the South Africans are 1 for 25.
Looks like Ben's parked up.
Oh, so he has.
I can't say I blame him, to be honest with you. It has been a shocking night for Ben Pedersen. Pedersen's parked up. Pedersen is done. On a night where an incident involving him inadvertently caught out his innocent bystanding teammate and ended his championship run. It has been a terrible night from the outset for the Blackout Electrical Solutions stable. However, they've still got Dylan Shepherd there. They've still got Corey Lazarus there, albeit down in 7th place. And that last pit stop for Lazarus was 12.3 seconds, and that has cost him. It's cost him 5th place. Leach and Knight have both gone by. We're watching Richard King at the moment chasing Paul Wilson. That's not for battle per se, because Wilson's in the open split and King's in the elite split. So the rate of attrition is climbing. Jordan Malcolm on the comeback trail, sitting 13th at the moment. Has completed 2 pit stops, so he should be right to get to the end. He's done 4, 11, and now another 11-lap stint. So he's done well. He's done the exact reverse of Dench and the likes at the front end of town. We've completed 23, start lap 24. Matt Dench's lead is 25, nearly 26 seconds, gentlemen. Just let that sink in for a moment. Jesus. The guy's insane. Let's be honest. The guy is insane. So Pedersen, Madsen, Sproul, Schultz, and Smith. That attrition list is climbing. Dench, Shepherd, Muir, Cooper, and Leach, the top 5. Knight there in 6th place. Leach and Knight side by side to Eau Rouge. Knight got there. Up into P5 for Jared Knight. Next target, Aaron Cooper. And he's only 2.6 seconds down the road. There they are. Can Jared Knight mount a late race charge with 4 minutes to go and 3 laps to go? 2.5. Jared Knight is 5th. Aaron Cooper is 4th. Sam Muir is still haggling Dylan Shepherd. Dench, Shepherd, Muir, Cooper, Knight, and Leach the top 5. Alan Dawson off the road momentarily, drops to 9th, loses out to Jeff Adams now.
On a positive note with the update, looks like the attrition has been helped by the off-track rolling tyre model. So I've noticed a lot of accidents that would have been written off cars that, they've just pulled up and rejoined.
As a driver who competes in Enduros, this is good.
Yes, indeed. Looking forward to the next Nords.
Whoa, Corey Lazarus. Big sun down the inside of Guy Leach to 6th. Lazarus is finishing on a charge.
And that
Dench with 2 laps to go.
is a textbook example of the changes that Josh was just talking about. You had done that on a normal day, and you might have spun putting your tyres on the inside of the grass like that through Blanchimont. But now, you get a little bit of extra wiggle room when you're trying to make passes like that, and it's all for the better.
Melbourne still trailing Collingwood by 13 points. I've got my eye on that. That game will finish in about 10 minutes' time. 6:41 left on the clock, and unfortunately they had a chance to add to the score there, and it's gone out of bounds on the full. So they still trail by 13. Collingwood containing that at the moment, maintaining their advantage and looking all the good to book a spot in a prelim final in a fortnight's time. 1 minute and 3/4 on the clock here. Dench is a lap and a half from home. He is 24 seconds up the road on Dylan Shepherd, Sam Muir, Aaron Cooper. Jared Knight's got Corey Lazarus and Guy Leach for company, but Aaron Cooper is being caught. Aaron Cooper is being caught.
Oh, no, just an extension of track. There was a delay there saying that he'd gone off track, and I was like, oh no, did he actually? He's on there. No, he's just decided to take the scenic route for a change. I will say this, though. For whatever reason, either, and that is what's happened, it's a little bit of both. Dylan Shepherd's gotten faster, and Matthew Dench has slowed down. The gap is now dropping. We were at 25.5. We're currently at 23.8.
Yeah.
It's not really going to matter.
No, I wouldn't worry too much about it. It is Matt Dench at the end of the day. He can afford to ease off the throttle and go as he starts the last lap of the race now. White flag in the air. And he got back there in the last half minute as I anticipated. Sam Muir. Sam Muir has lost out there to Dylan Shepherd. A little bit of a moment coming onto the main straight. Shepherd loses out. Now we've got Lazarus, Knight and Leach. Still 1.5 seconds away from Cooper, but one mistake from Cooper and they're going to be on him like a cheap suit. Knight bobbling on the exit of turn 1 and under all sorts of pressure from Guy Leach heading down to Eau Rouge. I wouldn't worry too much about Dench. He's done what he needed to do. He's made the statement, sent the message. He's got the championship. He will just cruise at the line. Instead of going at 110%, he'll just back it off and go 100%.
So Sam was looking in a good position to possibly try and take the fight to Shepherd, but unfortunately did drop off. And now with a 1 second gap, that's going to be very, very hard to make back following the rest of this track, unfortunately. It's not impossible, it's just very hard. Jeez, Lazarus went wide there. I thought he was actually going to clip the wall.
The final lap. Has Jared Knight got anything left to offer at Corey Lazarus? Can Lazarus latch onto Cooper? He's only a second away. Lazarus is coming home with a wet sail here. Right at the front of the queue, at the top of the pecking order as per usual, as he makes his way into the final sector and into the final corner. Matt Dench has pulled off yet another Belgian masterclass. Last turn, checkered flag. title number 7, if not secured, but Dench dominates in Belgium at Spa. He will win by 23 seconds. It's an extraordinary achievement. It's an extraordinary number in a race that only lasted 26 laps.
Oh, Lazarus is gone!
Goes second. Samuel third. Lazarus has gone wide. Lazarus has gone wide and thrown it away.
Oh, and he's come.
Thrown it away, and he's come to pit lane, and I'm not terribly sure why he's doing that either. Dench wins, Shepherd second, Muir third, Cooper, Knight, then Leach. Lazarus crosses the line from pit lane, but Josh Zuno, I don't think you can actually do that. I think iRacing throw the book at you if you do. Then Jeff Adams, Alan Dawson, and Brett Barker.
There's a chance that he hit his incident point limit right at the end there and had to do his drive-through, so...
Oh,
So
no!
they'll him with 40 seconds anyway, because the pit lane finishes after the start-finish line. Wow.
Oh.
Just when you wouldn't have thought the night could get any worse for Blackout. Bang. Are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? And
that.
all on his own. Oh boy, kiss the night goodbye. They'll be dead set relieved to see the back of Spa after that. It doesn't make any
Looks
sense.
like he's
to me.
been credited with P7, so he might have got lucky.
Well, let's just wait and see, because the server hasn't officially closed yet. Once it closes, once the race session ends, let's wait and see. If he gets 7th, he's incredibly lucky. Incredibly lucky. He had 5th. He lost it on the final corner. The pressure too much. He was trying to track down Aaron Cooper, and instead, he gave up positions to Jared Knight and Guy Leach. Further down the order, wow. Jeff Adams, Alan Dawson, Brett Barker made up the top 10. Paul Wilson, the winner of the Open Split, in 12th. Joe Baldwin, 2nd, 14th outright. And Adam Lavis, 3rd, in 16th outright. Christensen, Gallagher, Kosh, and Wood and Gill behind them. 21 cars got home.
So
Anyone that parked up earlier in the piece didn't get classified because they bailed from the server. But I do believe that had Ben Pedersen stayed in the server, he would have been classified because he would have been past the 75% race distance, which was 20 and a half laps.
and just have a look at that
22.
at race results. Lazarus has come down to P12.
23.26. Wow. So Corey Lazarus has been hit with, let me just calculate this. He was 39 seconds off Dench. It's now showing a minute 14. He's been hit with a 35-second penalty. 35 seconds on the last corner of the last lap.
That is rough.
That is cruel.
Yeah.
That's iRacing for you. That I mean, mate, it is a fickle son of a bitch at the best of times. It is the cruelest of cruel blows. Wow. Words fail me. However, at the top end of the town, now in 11th outright, the winner of the Open Split, Paul Wilson, joins us. And Paul, we're still catching our breath from what happened in the tail stages of the Elite Split, mate. But for you, pretty good run there. You were contending with a couple of the Elite Split guys around you for much of the night, but you fended off the challenges in the Open Split relatively early in the piece, mate. A clean run, and just having a look at it here, a good 12 seconds over the competition, which was headed up by Joe Baldwin. So well done. You ticked that box, and you've got one hand on the championship in your own right.
Yeah, I'm not counting my chickens yet, Zach. Thanks, mate.
No.
Yeah, I had a good run tonight. It was good. I just got into a good groove. I've got a sore clacker now, and my feet feel like they're cramping up. But oh no, it's kicking in. Yeah, that was tops.
Just an extraordinary night, really. A hard track, a hard race to keep your nose clean and here and avoid incident point penalties and other things. You've really got to keep your wits about you. And the first lap was hairy too.
Yeah, and I got through the first lap pretty good. I got an incident point about lap 4 or 5, so I gave up worrying about it too much. But I didn't finish with too many. Yeah, I had a good clean race. Last week just exhausted me, Suzuka. I just absolutely flat knackered after that one. So this one, I was a bit surprised. I felt a lot better. But yeah, I've definitely been aiming at the championship this year. But I've done the bridesmaid too many times, mate. So it's time to grab that little gold plaque instead of these silver ones. Fingers crossed, anyway, mate. They've probably nearly got it covered now. But yeah, we'll just wait and see.
Well, we've got a couple of interesting things to contend with next week, mate, and that is a 3-race format, an invert of the top 10 for the second race. Phillip Island, we know how competitive that racing around that venue can be. We know how incredibly cruel it can be if you get it wrong as well. Just got to get through the motions and tick the box, most likely in the first couple of races there, and you should be okay.
Mate, I don't want to jinx anything, but I think it was a couple of seasons ago, going into the last race at Phillip Island with Dane and I think Steve Gallagher, and either of us had a shot at the title, and my steering wheel busted halfway through the first race, and I couldn't change gears, so that put a bit of a tear in me 90. So let's hope that doesn't happen again this time.
Breaking news from the MCG before I go back to you, Paul Wilson, is that Collingwood are through to a preliminary final. They have beaten Melbourne 9-6-60 to 7-11-53. So straight kicking the difference there. 18 scoring shots and lose the game of football to a team with 15 scoring shots. Melbourne fought back hard, but Collingwood with 60 have got the job done. They go through to a prelim final, but they will be on the Friday night in a fortnight in front of over 90,000 at the G. They'll play the winner of one of the semi-finals next week. Still, of course, matches between Brisbane and Port Adelaide. Sydney will take on Carlton, and I think it's GWS and St Kilda in the other matches this weekend. So it's a big weekend of finals footy. Collingwood are first through to a preliminary final. Melbourne will go around again next week, since I'm already in the zone with around the grounds. 1 for 25 currently, the South Africans. In fact, let me just refresh that, because that's the same score I gave a few moments ago. That can't still be right. No, 14 overs gone, 2 for 42 now. You would have thought that was the live rolling website, not the case. 2 for 42, South Africa against Australia, first one-day international in Bloemfontein. That's live on Fox Sports for anyone that wants to watch it whilst listening to the post-race show here. We've got Sam Muir about to join us. We've got Rd-9 here, Matt Dench as well. We're talking to Paul Wilson, the leader of the open class at the moment. I guess the other unknown with Phillip Island too, mate, is the ring-ins, the brush-ins that will just make their way out from under the woodwork and blow out the cobwebs for the sake of it, because it's Phillip Island.
Mate, and I hope there's heaps of them. Come on in, boys. It was great to see a few more numbers again tonight. We got a bit low there during the season, but the quality's been awesome. I mean, this series, I think the quality's just gone strength to strength, season in, season out over the last year or so. And it's on the back of everyone chasing Denchi, which is awesome. He really sets a benchmark, and I've picked up a couple little things off him this year. I know I'm never going to catch the boys, but he's dropped a few little suggestions in the post-race chat, which I've picked up on, and are helping me out. So thanks, Denchi. I appreciate it, mate, and we'll keep trying.
I think everybody's going to keep trying to catch the master of the craft there. There's no doubt about that. Hey, Paul, what happens after this season, mate? Do we see you get promotion up to the elite split if you tick the box and get the you next week?
Mate, I'll be here regardless. I don't really, it doesn't really worry me. You can make it one big split for all. That'd be fine. I've had some cracking races this season with, particularly with Nick Wood and with Adam. I've been trying to chase Brett Barker around. He's just that little bit quicker than me, but I've found myself behind him on a number of occasions, and he was towing me along there for quite a few laps tonight. But mate, it's the battle on track which does it for me. The championship's tops too, and it keeps me coming back as well. But so I don't know if I'm up to the elite boys, but you just never know. We'll keep trying. We'll keep getting. I'm getting better. I'm pretty sure at that, but I think everyone else is getting better faster than me.
What about the patch update that hit this morning, mate? Did you notice anything different with the car tonight?
No, I felt pretty good. I didn't notice too much. It felt fine. It was cool. Nothing yet. That's the only thing I've done in it so far. I got up as soon as I got up this morning. I downloaded the 400 gig worth of update, and here we are. So it all felt fine. I didn't notice anything anyway.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Congratulations. Stick around, though, because the maestro, the Maverick, Adam Lavis, is punching the numbers as we speak. Hopefully, that means we'll have a championship up. That end of broadcast, and I'll get some clarification from him on that one way or another, but he is manually chipping away at that as we speak, unlike last week. So thank you, Adam Lavis, for that. We'll press on. Because I want to see what those championship numbers look like before I introduce you just quietly. Jared Knight, you wouldn't be able to believe your luck. 6th coming into the final corner, 5th coming out of it, all because of a lockup for Corey Lazarus, which really summed up Blackout tonight, rather unfortunately for them.
Yeah, that was with a flow down myself, so yeah, no, that was. I've still got to work out how to save tyres and these things, because yeah, they were absolutely cooked at the end, and yeah, I believe I got told during the race that you ducked on me for a hot lap, and I ended up muffing that, so I do apologise.
Well, to be honest, we didn't actually mention that you muffed it. And at the end of it, you went into pit lane anyways, which is exactly what we wanted you to do, because it meant that the timing of crossing to you in the first place was absolutely perfect. Because it would have been no good going the next lap because you came into pit lane. But in saying all of that, mate, a nice performance. Started 8th, finished 5th. Tick that box. Obviously, there was a fair bit of attrition towards the back end of proceedings. Early on, we lost Andrew Smith, we lost Samuel Sproul, and then we lost Ben Pedersen as well. So there's 3 blokes that started up towards the pointy end. In saying that, though, you had a few good battles throughout the course of the evening, and it's a tough slog around here, but clearly better than Suzuka for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can. The less we can talk about Suzuka, the better.
All right, very nicely done. With regards to Spa, though, mate, you mentioned tyre wear. So, take any rubber throughout the course of the 2 pit stops or not?
No, I think it definitely would have cost positions. I don't think it would have been beneficial to lose time in the pit stop. Yeah, rather than not, yeah, you just would have been battling through the pack, and yeah, I couldn't see the that being the optimal strategy.
So in the end, you just had to nurse worn tyres towards the end of the race. It's a delicate sort of balance, isn't it? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. In saying all of that, though, thoughts on Spa? I mean, are you happy with that result, despite a couple of little things along the way, as you say, muffing the hot lap, and then, of course, having to nurse tyre wear at the end?
Yeah, 5th wasn't a terrible. Oh, sorry, 6th wasn't a terrible result. Actually, no, 5th. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, Spa's not my best track. I do love the circuit, but I'm just not naturally quick here. So yeah, I'll definitely take that position, and yeah, hopefully we'll be a little bit better next week at Phillip Island.
I do apologise at my end as well, guys. I'm not sure if I'm blipping in and out here because I am getting the feed cutting in and out at the other end. So I'm not sure if it's my end or Daniel's end or what's going on, but I'm hoping everybody can still hear me okay. Let's press on. We've got Joe Baldwin standing by. We've got Rd-9 as well. We've got Matt Dench and also Sam Muir to get to. Nighty, while I've still got you, patch update overnight. Did you notice anything different with that Porsche?
No, struggled with it as I have every other week. So yeah, felt completely the same.
So on that note, are you going to come and struggle at Phillip Island with us next week as well?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for punishment, Zach. Of course I will.
Yeah, good boy. Good boy. And it's always fun too because it's a 3-race format. You get a chance to redeem yourself if you muff any of the first two. But it's a nice way to finish the season as well. 3 races, a few ring-ins will come in and have some fun with us. And it's just a great track for this type of racing. But then again, really, it doesn't matter what car you throw on Phillip Island, it always delivers.
Yeah, definitely. The 3 sprint races might suit me a little bit better. I'll be able to just go on the push and not have to worry about nursing the tyres. So yeah, hopefully set for a better result next week.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Stay there if you want to get wind of what the championship points look like in just a moment. But good luck on Monday night as well in the GT4s. Can't go any worse than Suzuka. And we look forward to seeing you there when we get to Magny Core on Monday night. And good luck for the next few days in between time as well, mate. Thanks for that.
Yeah, cheers, Zach. Thanks.
Sam Muir, good evening to you. Third in the end. Oh, wow. What a night at the office. You had your hands full from the outset. There were so many different playmates for you or dance partners for you throughout the course of the night. People to jockey with and battle with for position. In the end, a couple of moments, a couple of hairy skirmishes along the way, but you kept your nose clean and you got to the checkered flag and you got there on the podium, mate. Well done.
Yeah, cheers, Zach. But yeah, probably couldn't have gone too much better for us, to be honest, because we just didn't have the pace of Denchi and the Blackout boys. So yeah, the plan was just to sort of keep it clean and see if we could take advantage of any hiccups from any of the other guys. And yeah, there are a couple of those which will make the championship finale next week a little bit more interesting. I think we closed the gap a little bit to Sammy Sproul, but yeah, we'll see how we go.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Sproul, of course, not having the most memorable night at the office, another retirement for him. But every time he trips up, that's I mean, it's no good for his championship campaign, but it does help you out, as you say. You must be looking forward to going toe-to-toe with him, though, next week at Phillip Island. That is going to be a great way to finish the season, whether the championship's still alive or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I heard him say in the broadcast last week or the week before that it's one of his favourite combos, and it's one of my favourite combos as well. So, yeah, it'll be good to go toe-to-toe and see if one of us or one of the Blackout boys, or if anyone wants to show up who can beat M. Dench, they're more than welcome to join. But yeah, hopefully one of us can get the job done. But no, that said, congrats to Dench on another fantastic season. He's just too good.
Absolutely. From your own personal standpoint tonight, do you like? I mean, Denchi was that far out in front; it wasn't funny. He was just running around on his own on a glorified testing session, really. But for you, do you enjoy those races where you've got your rear view mirrors full of cars, or you've got your windscreen mirror full of the car in front? Do you enjoy those nights where you've got to keep your wits about you because you're stuck in positional battle from first until last, or do you like it when it's a little bit more calm and casual?
Nah, yeah, definitely prefer it this way. That's for sure. Not the biggest fan of Spa, but I do like these enduro sort of formats with the longer races. You've got to look after your stuff, your tyres in particular around here, and it's really easy to rack up off tracks as well. So yeah, the plan going into tonight was just to just sort of not get suckered into racing people too hard and just make sure that we had enough off tracks and enough tyre left at the end to do some battling. But unfortunately, Dylan Shepherd was just a bit too quick for us.
True, and he had a blisteringly good run. There's no doubt about that, despite all the drama unfolding around him as well. Jared Knight mentioned tyre wear. How was it for you?
Yeah, I didn't have too much left there towards the end. And yeah, I was watching, just sitting behind Shep there for the majority of the race, and could see that he was sort of in the same boat as me. He looked like he was making a concerted effort to look after his stuff. Ben Pedersen, on the other hand, looked like he was really pushing really hard, so I'm not too sure if he had too much left there at the end. But yeah, it certainly was pretty tough to look after the tyres. There wasn't too much left.
Not at all. I guess that problem goes out the window next week when we get to Phillip Island and back to sprint racing to finish it off.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. As I said, one of my favourite combos, and I've never done the 3-race sprint format for GSRC before, so yeah, something a little bit different, something to look forward to.
All right, mate, nicely done. Stay with us. I'll give you a championship update in a few moments' time as soon as Adam Lavis is done with the points matrix and reformats it for us so that we can present that information to everybody before we get off air tonight. Well done on the podium finish at Spa.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, Dave.
Joe Baldwin, let's bring you in at this point. Second to Paul Wilson in the open split, 14th outright, mate. And we didn't see much of you tonight, Trucker. You must have had a quiet run.
Yeah, I had a, I don't know, it might be just in my head, but it always seems after there's an update, there seems to be a lot of bad netcode, and probably seen a couple of incidents with that tonight. Through Eau Rouge on lap 1, there was about 1.5 foot between Kingy and myself, and it just netcoded me out and got a about 2.5, 3 second slowdown, and it put me down the back, so I just ended up running my own race, you're right, but towards the end, I must have been going too slow because my tyres hung on. I did my fastest lap on the second last one. Nowhere near the calibre of the guys up the front, but for a stocker like me doing a 22.5, which is right around what all the other guys in the group were doing, I'm pretty happy with that. Spa's generally not a track I'm overly good at, but yeah, we had Suzuki the other night. All these tracks I say I'm sort of no good in my class. I've had pretty decent results this week, so yeah, no, probably good as far as the championship goes to try and stay in the top 3 anyway. We're not going to catch Mr. Wilson. I think he's got the Dev Series stitched up unless something crazy happens next week, but yeah, well done to him.
Well, that's exactly right. We'll have a look at all that very, very shortly. In saying all of that, though, there were a couple of slowdowns tonight as well that we noticed. It's interesting to get your comments about netcode because we had an incident where that was the case, and Josh Zuno verified that for us on air during the broadcast. The tyre wear as well. Interesting that you were able to get the best out of your rubber at the very end of the night. Is that more of a driver comfort, getting more comfortable as the race wore on thing, or did you find a way to actually look after your tyres, Joe?
Just because I'm slow, I think. I don't burn tyres off, but no, I've been concentrating a lot on doing like the looking after the tyres and not locking brakes and using more of the track, and I've still got a long way to go, but I think I'll probably improve more in this car than any car over the past couple of seasons. Like consistency and one lap pace is one thing, but to be able to finish a race without bending the car. And I had a 4X on lap 1. I think I only had 3 off tracks the rest of the race. So I only had 7 incident points, which normally I'm up the top there. I'm looking here. I think in the top 6, there's nobody up there that has got less than 13 incident points. So yeah, trying to keep it on track, especially here. It's so easy to pick up off tracks at Spa, and but Pooon, that magic carpet ride as you're turning down at Pooon, that caught me a couple of times. It's like I don't know. It's weird. I was talking to the teammates about it, and it caught Adam out, caught Dave Christensen out, and got me a couple of times. And I think who was it? Can't remember. It might have been Dane Snadden. No, actually, I think it was Steve Galicho early in the race. He hit it, and it just sent him flying out into the outfield. I think he spun. So it's Yeah, I reckon in all the laps I only hit poo on properly once. The rest of the time was just trying to survive. But it's it's good fun. I don't know, I heard who was it? I think Sam saying he didn't think the car had changed, but I don't know. I think it's probably got more grip. Feels like it to me, or it's just a Spa thing. I'm not sure.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Phillip Island next week. We get to finish the season off at an old favourite on home turf. Can you continue this run of podium finishes that you've been notching up in the Porsches?
I certainly hope so. I'd like to finish third overall in the championship. I don't have any rounds to spare. I missed the first couple of weeks, so I've been playing catch up all season. So if I can eke out another bronze medal thing, bloody badge at the end of the season, I'll be pretty happy about that. So it's technically not a car I've ever done well in. So even though it's in the dev, but you can't take away. We're all around the same pace, and I think it's not so much a pace thing; it's a consistency thing. Although, so hopefully just by being consistent, I can get a result overall, which would be nice. And I do like Phillip Island. It's got its own challenges. Turn 1 is a white knuckle place there in any car you go. So looking forward to it. Should be good.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Now, before we get to 1M Dench, I'm just waiting to see when Adam Lavis updates. No, we're not ready to go with the points update just yet. We'll wait and see when Mr. Lavis has finished crunching the numbers yet there. Provisionally, it says Matt Dench 513, Sam Muir 376, but I've also got to find where the likes of Sproul, etc. are in there. But the problem, Dylan Shepherd 214, he's not factoring in the equation. The problem for me is the matrix is all over the place, so it doesn't quite give me the whole list of names in chronological order at the moment. So just bear with me on that. As soon as we've got an update for you, 396 Samuel Sproul. It's saying at the moment. But if that's all correct, if that is all correct, that's an advantage of 117 for Matt Dench, which for me says that he has just wrapped up title number 7 in the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. And if not, Denchy, it's a bloody difficult task to beat you next week or turn that around, because I think there's only 105 up for grabs. Or thereabouts. Adam Lavis will confirm that for us in just a moment. So let's bring him in, the champion-elect, for the 7th time. That graphic at the bottom of your screen is going to need updating again, ladies and gentlemen. Denchy, good evening to you. Well done. At Clinical, in the same way that it was as dominant on Monday night, it was as dominant on Thursday night. You controlled the race early. You dealt with a little bit of pressure from Sproul and Shepherd, and then Shepherd got Taylor, got into Sproul hit the wall, and you took off. It ended up being a 23-second victory, mate. That was one of your more dominant performances in this Porsche Cup.
Yeah, so at the start of the race there, I was sort of toying with the idea of trying to skip one of the pit stops, and we just kind of got a little bit racy and leaving the door open, a couple of little touches here and there, and there were a few mistakes, and one of those mistakes got me almost a 2-second lead, so we just hit the gas pedal and pushed on from there, and just kind of drove away.
I was going to say, I mentioned this during the call, correct me if I'm wrong, Daniel Correa, sir, but I just got the feeling, given that you were at the front of the field containing things or controlling things and keeping this field contained behind you, I just had the feeling that you were attacking it in the same vein as Monday night. Was there any merit to fuel saving here, or was it very similar to Bathurst, in which there was not much to gain?
I think if I slowed the pace down to like 22, 23s, I could have saved enough fuel to skip that pit stop. But you never really know what the other guys are going to sort of do. If they follow suit, then you kind of all just do the same thing. But they were looking pretty racy, so yeah, we didn't try to slow it down too much. But yeah, the fuel save was on the cards, I think. So.
Well, I was going to say, if you did slow the pace down to that 22s, 23s, that would have eked more time out of the clock. You probably wouldn't have taken us into overtime into lap 26 either.
Yeah, so it was like a good 3.5 laps that we needed to save, so it would have been really, really tough for sure.
100%. In saying all that, it didn't matter in the end because you took off and you dominated. Dealing with the argy-bargy and the pressure in the early stages. Yes, there's a fan question that's just landed here for you, Denchi, and I'll get to that in a moment. But from a standpoint of once you dealt with that pressure and you withstood it and you took off, the rest of it looked pretty cruisy, pretty easy. How was the tyre wear and how was everything else?
Yeah, the tyres were like at the end they were like low 40%. So like I was trying to go for a couple laps at the end there, but I was just getting lots of understeer and touched the gravel pits a couple of times on the exits. That's kind of like the only thing I've noticed different with the car is when it touches the gravel, it wants to kind of bulk the car down a bit more. So.
All right, very nicely done. Adam Lavis has jumped into the booth. We'll get to him in just a few moments because he'll be able to give us his thoughts on... Actually, no, we're not going to ask him about the Toyotas because he wasn't very happy with his 5-second penalty at the end of proceedings there, but we are going to get him to verify the ramifications of the events of tonight as far as the championship's concerned. In saying all of that, though, Denchi, a fan question's come in from one trucker from the other side of the Nullarbor that says, ask him if Eau Rouge was taken flat in your Porsche tonight.
If I was behind somebody, it's a small lift at the just as you come into the bottom of the dip. But with clear air, no one ahead. It's full throttle.
Full throttle indeed. Very nicely done. It was good to see that Samuel Sproul was racing whilst he was on the circuit. However, his demise really enabled you to cruise tonight. You didn't have to win the race, but you did. And title number 7, the pressure's off going into next week in both the GT3s and the Porsches, mate. How does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, like the pressure for the championship is off, but you always want to be winning the races. So you know, for the race itself, the pressure's always going to be on still.
Always wanting more. Always not happy with having just won the title, Joe Baldwin. He wants to come out and put the exclamation mark on it as well, and that just shows you the type of racer that one Matt Dench is.
Look, we've all seen, not trying to toot his horn or anything like that, but he's the class of the field. Has been for a number of seasons now, and it's as a committee member and whatever. I want to thank Matt for sticking around and racing. Even once he's won the championships, you still feel like it's a challenge to continue to stretch the numbers, Matt, or you would have flown your wings and done other things. So you clearly still enjoy the challenge of the gentleman's club.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's quite a few quick guys in here. They're always really fun to race with, and some weeks they really give it to you, and some weeks you just kind of get the better of it. So it's great fun.
Yeah, well, congratulations on, is it number 7, I think, is it, Matt? Is it Zach? Yeah, so, well done, Matt.
Yeah, number 7.
Congratulations.
So for every GT3 championship he's won, he's then backed up and won a Porsche championship at the same season, Joe. He's done it 7 bloody times. 1 3/4 years of dominance.
Well, there's only one way to stop him, is we don't run Porsches next season. But
no. Whatever Blackout Electrical Solutions are sponsoring it, they're on the bill. I'm told
it's certainly going to be on the agenda for next season. I'm pretty certain of that. So it's got a couple of changes coming for the races and some of the nights that we're going to be running races next week. There's going to be a reveal coming up. So it's should be something in there for everybody. Bit of sometimes change is as good as a holiday. So we'll Sometimes. So, but sure you'll be happy with some of what we've got coming.
I am, and that's all I'll say. Yeah, absolutely. No, we're very excited about that. There is no doubt. Stay with us next Thursday night in the post-race show, folks. Once we've put a full stop on the championship, once we've interviewed all the winners and losers, we will reveal the slate of broadcast nights and also what's on the agenda for Term 4 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Season 15 of the club in 2023. Denchi, this one, I think it's fair to say this has been one of your more dominant performances across the board in terms of what you strung together across the course of the 9 weeks. Because let's not forget that round 4, you were a DNR. You did not turn up at all. You gave everybody an opportunity to get a leg up on you because you were frying bigger fish with your GT3 Speed Cafe Series commitments, if memory serves. So this, to put it together in 8 weeks, it's very similar to what you did in GT4 when you came in there and cleaned up after giving everybody a 2-week head start. Would you put this Porsche Cup triumph down as one of your best?
I'm going to have to say this has probably been the best season, even across the GT3 seasons as well. Like every round I've attended, we've only missed one. We've won every round, so yeah, it's good.
Very nicely done. Tyre wear, we've already covered that with you. What about, have you noticed anything different about the car since the patch update last night?
Well, when the car was on the black stuff, felt exactly the same as it has all season. Yeah, just a couple spots where we ran wide towards the end. Did the wheel on the grass and in the sand. It felt a little bit different than what I was used to, but yeah, overall the car was the same.
All right, very nicely done, and of course. Next week, Phillip Pyle, and a chance to just finish it off with no pressure on, and I guess knowing that there's an invert race in there for the sake of it, Denchi, knowing that there's no pressure on, that probably sits well with you because you've always had a bit of a love-hate relationship. You are getting better, but you've had a love-hate relationship in the past with those invert races. Yeah,
being Phillip Island, the invert races there is going to make it pretty spicy, I think. Everyone's really fast at Phillip Island anyway, so I think we'll have our work cut out for us to throw it up on the podium, so we'll see.
Mate, very nicely done. Hey, stick there with me for a moment, because on the subject of the patch update, Joe Baldwin, you were very quick to the party on this. Our fun at Mount Panorama has been taken right away from us, and there's a lot of people very aggrieved about that.
Yes. Yeah.
That was half the point of going to Bathurst, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. No more. Oh, you didn't get your points if you didn't do the jump at the end of the night. And
exactly.
I got out of bed this morning. I was sitting there warming up my truck, and Jimmy Broadbent was actually doing a live stream. I was sitting there watching him, and he ran off track in that new super formula thing and got into the gravel, and the car stopped dead. I'm like, that's a bit weird, and went over, and I think it was Quirk Tyres tried to run down through the gravel, and the car just stopped dead. And then Reddit blew up and Twitter blew up and all that, and it was a bit of a sad day today actually. But almost 10 years to the day that people have been able to do the jump at Bathurst, and they went and took away one of the fun things of the sim. So probably not the most realistic part about the sim, but it was still fun.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all for the realism of it, but you got to leave a little bit of the fun as well. Let's be perfectly honest; it would be nothing without the fun. Let's remind everybody of the championship standings in the Porsches now that we have got those numbers through. 516 for Matt Dench. 396 for Samuel Sproul, 377 for Sam Muir, 343 for Jeff Adams, and 310 for Guy Leach, 296 for Brett Barker, 266 for Richard King, Corey Lazarus 247, 215 for Dylan Shepherd, and Aaron Cooper on 202 points, 3 points clear of Dane Snowden makes up the top 10. Andrew Smith's fallen outside to 184 on 12th place, 163 for Shane Wright, Jared Knight 156, and John Merritt 127. Ben Pedersen further back again in 16th place on 97 points a season to forget, no doubt about that. Adam Lavis, well done to you for punching those numbers. We appreciate that. As far as the open split is concerned, Paul Wilson 499. He's not done yet. It's not over. Paul Wilson 499 leads Adam Lavis 434. 394 now for Joe Baldwin. 31 clear of 31 clear rather as Stephen Gallacher 363. 301 for Nick Wood, 220 for Chook Fung Wong, David Christensen 199, 165 for Greg Padgett, 134 for Brett Bradbury, and Christopher Ruddle on 130 points, the top 10 in the open split. So Trucker's got a chance to wrap up a podium finish next week. Denchi's put the cake on the table. He's now going to go and ice it, and we're we're just about done. Final thoughts from you, Denchi, because next week you do get a chance to let your hair down, but that's usually when you up the ante and add insult to injury.
Yeah, I was just looking at how many points are available next week. It looks like we've got just enough to lock down. So yeah, we can just sort of ignore the points going into next week and just have some fun.
And have some fun we shall. Joe Baldwin, Mountain Men this week, please.
Is the GR86 Toyota, and it's an open service, so anybody who's listening and isn't a member of the club, by all means come along, join in. I think being that car, Mount Panorama, new build, it's going to get busy on Saturday night, so we should have some strong numbers and could shake up the championship. I think Adam's running second, I'm running third, I think, overall, and he's fast in the V8s, Adam. What's his name? Greg Favell. Greg Favell is leading the championship pretty handy at the moment, but when you got an open server, if we get a heap of numbers in there, it's anything could happen. It could be pretty open with only a couple of rounds to go. We got that in the Lotus 79 to see out the season, and the Lotus 79 is going to be a 50-lap race, by the way, not a 32-lap race. So a bit of a mini enduro in that car on the mountain. It's still, I mean, it's fast enough. It's still only going to take 2 hours. Let's be honest.
True, and 50 laps around Mount Panorama gets you just over the 300 kilometre distance as well. So 6.213 by 50 is 310.65 kilometres, essentially the distance of a Formula One Grand Prix. Joe Baldwin, thank you. Matt Gedge, thank you. And Daniel Correa-Sar, some final thoughts from you, and I guess. Yep, Denchi's the king of the mountain again as far as the Porsche Cup is concerned. But there were some other impressive performances tonight.
Yeah, there was. We had a good showing there in the production cars. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that Troy Baker managed to roll one. So that's a good show there. And yeah, just another commiseration there for Samuel Sproul, who again just gets caught up in an incident not his own, and out of the race with that. That's a real shame.
Second time in a month that they've been caught up in an incident that wasn't that he's been caught up in an incident that wasn't his own, and that one terminal as far as the championship aspirations were concerned.
I'll just point out, Trucker, if you were watching Jimmy Broadbent this morning, you must have been up pretty early, because I too was watching that stream.
He's actually left the house.
Oh, has he?
He's gone. He's gone out.
I was actually awake at 3:30 this morning, and I don't even know why. And he was up streaming then, so yeah, it would have been up pretty early.
Just for clarification, what part of the world are you broadcasting from?
New South Wales. Oh, that explains it.
God's country, yes.
Yeah.
Trucker was up at 1:30 a.m. Western time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, 3 weeks and counting, ladies and gentlemen, until our friends in Queensland won the clock 112 years. There's your daylight saving bingo reference for the card tonight as well, ladies and gentlemen. And behave yourself until that point. But actually, since I've already blown the cover, I couldn't help myself the other night. Katrina Blowers, the delightful, beautiful Katrina Blowers, who reads 7 News Queensland on a Saturday and Sunday up here. She opened up a story there the other night by saying hundreds of Queenslanders have taken a step back in time. And I was like, hang on, hold off about 4 weeks. It's millions taking a step back in time, back to the early hours of the 20th century. But that's another story. That apparently had something to do with some old rail stuff that was going through Ipswich and the like. But anyway, let's thank some people before we get out of here, because we couldn't do it without them. All of our great sponsors, the people that support the club and everything that we do. Starting with Waste Options, Orbit Australia, Blackout Electrical Solutions, Login Systems, Astute Finance, Insurance and Wealth in East Brisbane, Fisher Door Lawyers, and Flash Graphics. Let's look at what's coming your way as far as the rest of Week 9 is concerned, into Week 10 on the platforms of the GSRC. We're done on a Thursday night. And, of course, tomorrow night, the Wings and Slicks will be front and centre. Now, remember, Friday night, when I mention all of that information, we're purely talking about what's available for our club members to sink their teeth into. So Formula 3 from the Chicago Street Circuit, that'll be well worth the price of admission. 2 races there, full reverse grid for the second race, and it's a sprint format from 8:15 Eastern. All those times, actually important to note, all those times Australian Eastern Standard Time for the next 3 weeks at least. The schedule for the Lotus 79 for the Mountain Men is Saturday night. It's it's the Toyota 86 this week, and it's the Lotus 79 next week. That's fine. Yeah, Toyota 86 this week, Lotus 79 next week. So the Toyota will be 32 laps. That'll be long enough. And then the Lotus for 50 laps around Mount Panorama next Saturday night, both starting at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. On Monday night, we're back with you. Now, make a note of this. We start at the same time, 7:25, 7:30. Ready for 45 minutes of All-Big Australia GT4 from Magny Core. That is the grand finale of GT4. The championship's still alive and there for the taking. And we're looking forward to that immensely. Sam Muir v Sam Chapman for the crown. Monday night from Magny Core. And because that's a 20-minute longer race than usual, our GT3 feature from Road America, the grand finale of, albeit a dead rubber, of Waste Options GT3 from Road America kicks things off at 8:45 Eastern. A slightly later start there on Monday night. So check your local guides for that. And of course, the post-race show will follow. So we won't be getting out here until 11 o'clock on Monday night, but we're looking forward to it immensely. The up-and-comers on Tuesday from Mount Panorama Grand Final week. 30-minute races across the board here. Big night for those guys. Have a look at it. Geez. Race 1 in the Formula V, Race 2 in the Mazda MX-5, Race 3 in the Toyota 86 One-Make Racing. 3 different races, 3 different servers. Good luck to the up-and-comers on Tuesday night. Wednesday night, Formula Ford gets wrapped up with a visit to Motorland Aragon and the 3-race format there, followed by the supercars from Le Mans on the Circuit de la Salle. And that's a 90-minute feature, 8:45 on Wednesday night. Thursday night, we're back with you. Final night of the broadcast term. We will reveal the slate of races and championships on offer and the nights that we're broadcasting in Term 4 in that broadcast at the very end of it. But before we can get to any of that, we've got to get through production cars from Mount Panorama first up, the Aston Martins. That will be good fun from 7:30 Eastern Time, and 2 sprint races there for good measure. 3 sprint races to follow from Phillip Island. So it's an all-Australian doubleheader to bring the curtain down on Term 3 with the Porsche Cup. From the Gateway to Hypothermia, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time, 15 minutes for race 1, 20 for race 2, 35 for race 3. Top 10 reverse grid for the second race, double points for the third race, everything to play for the battle for the minor placings, because Denchi has wrapped it up yet again. He's a 7-time champion in GT3 and Porsche Cup, and I think this might actually be the first season in which he's given himself a little bit of leeway in the way of pressure with both championships wrapped up by week 9. Pressure's off. I'm pretty sure it's the first time that he's done the double with a round to spare. He goes into the final week with merely boxes to tick as far as putting the icing on the cake is concerned. There is no pressure as regards to the championship fight. He doesn't even have to turn up because the box is already ticked. He's done it in GT3 on several occasions. Pretty sure it's the first time he's done it in both Porsche and GT3, which goes to show just how dominant, how brilliant a season it's been. You can see that running across your screen there, ladies and gentlemen. That's the website, merch.tgsrci.com. GSRC.merch.myshopify.com will take you to the same place. Race.tgsrci.com is where you go for the calendar, for the membership sign-ups and everything else as well. So make a note of all of that. Plenty of merch available for purchase. Sink your teeth into it. It's good quality. Summer's just around the corner. Maybe a stubby holder comes in handy. And maybe you need a new night shirt like I've got. Just a T-shirt to wear to bed. GSRC merch T-shirts are great. Let me tell you that much. They're very comfy. Brought the club that supports you, Adam.
Indeed. Hey, have you checked the updated production car championship points?
No, I didn't have the ability to do that. You might want to elaborate, please.
Well, so you got the Whittaker boys are going into next season. Brendan in front, only 15 points.
Ooh.
So you got a little bit of a ding dong battle between them next week. Should be good to see.
So B Whittaker ahead of C Whittaker.
Yeah, Brendan's in front. Chris is behind. So Chris, listen, this will be if Brendan can pull it off, be the first time Brendan's pulled it off when they've gone head to head. So
wow,
be interesting.
Wow. Okay. And then there's the rest of it. Adam Lavis third. pressure is somewhat off you as far as the battle for the minor placings is concerned. 3:33 for Chapman, 3:31 for Brad, 10 and 3:31 for Gosner. Have a look at how tight that is. Geez, the battle is on for the minor placings in that championship, but only, as you say, 15 points between Whittaker 1 and Whittaker 2. And CW will be very surprised at that. He will be very surprised at that because he wouldn't have been expecting to be that close given the season that's played out. But that's the beauty of the drop round system and the matrix and how it works. Adam, thank you. Daniel, thank you. Appreciate your time and effort and help as always, boys, quickly around the grounds on the way out to South Africa against Australia. First one down international. It's a 5-match series. South Africa currently 3-76 after 20 overs. Collingwood got the job done over Melbourne at the Melbourne Cricket Ground by 7 points, and the Sharks beat St George in NRLW as well. Been a big Thursday night of sport. Basketball World Cup semi-finals tomorrow night. The bronze and gold medal matches on Sunday. Footy finals, of course, in the NRL get underway tomorrow. There's so much to be excited about in a sensational month of September, and we put the full stop on our term of racing, term 3 of the season 14 for the club next week. Hope you can join us for that and more on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Plenty to see and do throughout the course of the weekend. Get out and support local sporting events right around the region, or kick back and relax on the couch, because obviously there's the Speed Series from Sandown, and also, of course, the US Open Tennis Championship finals from Flushing Meadows in New York. And there's also the IndyCar finale, even though that's a dead rubber too. So there's dead rubbers left, right and centre. And pretty sure there's a MotoGP race from Mazzano on Sunday night, and there's World Superbikes too. So lots to sink your teeth into this weekend. Hope you enjoyed our coverage. The Production Car Championship's still there for the taking next week, but this one's done. Paul Wilson has one hand on the open split, but Adam Lavis will have something to say about that, I'm sure, on behalf of Daniel Correa-Sar and the rest of the broadcast commentary and production team here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. I'm Zach Caban. Until we meet again, have a great weekend, everybody. Bye for now.